Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven aka Storm and we are back for some more of The Elder Scrolls Online as Reewish, the Mighty Battle Lizard. We're going to try to finish up the Fire Song DLC today so we can return to Skyrim next week. We will have to see. Honestly, we've already gotten a little bit of a start on the end of the Legacy of the Bretons wrap-up quest line. As long as nothing goes horrifically, horribly wrong, we should be good to go. Joe will be joining us in stream soon, so I sent him an invite to a party, so he'll be joining us eventually. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started. So last time we talked to Lady Arabelle, and she asked us to go speak with the Alliance leaders and convince them to wait for the peace talks to begin, because for some reason Lord Picaro still hasn't started the peace talks.
When I was a kid, on cold nights, I used to curl up by the fire in the Castle Navir main hall. I'd sit there with a book and fall asleep over the pages.
I like the little pieces of lore that your companions give you sometimes. It's really nice. I look forward to see what our new companions for next year are going to be. Although I seriously doubt that it's going to change it's going to sway me away from Isabel as my favorite companion, but I don't know. I kind of need to adventure with whatever new companion comes out, because I'll need to level them up, and the best way to level up is to play through the zone, because they level up pretty fast when you're doing that. But I don't know. I kind of want to have my main character just adventure with Isabel from now on. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna need to start working on. I'm gonna need to start working on Ember and getting her maxed out eventually. Prince Issachar.
They've separated us, have us under constant guard. I feel like a prisoner. And all because Lord Bicaro wants to maintain the sanctity of his peace talks. But I want to hear your news. Where have you been, my friend?
To Galen and Ypsilon. I stopped a plot involving the Firesong Druids and Sea Elves.
Druids and Sea Elves? Huh. Impressive as always. And have you learned anything more about the Ascendant Order and its mysterious lord?
Not yet, but Lady Arabelle is running down some new leads. We'll get the peace talks going soon.
Yes, yes. For a Breton noble, Lady Arabelle seems quite competent. I know my father trusts her, despite her ties to Emmerich and the Covenant. We'll get to it. I can't wait to get out of this room so we can finally start talking.
By the way, a neat little tidbit: when you enter the banquet hall for, usually, like any other time when this quest isn't active, there's all the people from the High Isle DLC standing in here, and Ember, for some reason, is still here. What the?
What a party! Lots of fancy people here. I've got to be on my best
They must have
behavior.
forgotten to... Hold on. If I remove Isabel, will the same thing happen? Hold on, let me call Miri. Yeah, Isabel and the Knight Commander just show up. Even though there's no reason for them to be here if
I
you...
could go for a bit of excitement.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm right beside you. Let's get out there.
Hello, Emmerich.
I used to enjoy my visits to the archipelago. It was a welcome change from the hustle and bustle of my court. But because of the Ascendant Order, I'm practically a prisoner in here. But tell me, what have you been up to?
I went to Galen and Ypsilon, stopped a plot involving the Firesong Druids and the Sea Elves.
More druidic traitors? I really must have a talk with their elders. And they were working with sea elves. That's not an alliance I would have predicted. But what about the Ascendant Order? Any sign of them or their lord?
Lady Arabelle is running down some new leads while we work to get the peace talks underway.
Aha, Arabelle. She's never failed me yet. Give her whatever help she requires. I haven't spoken to Irene or Ernskar since the celebration. I think I actually miss them. The guards are overly protective of us, and we had practically no contact.
You haven't spoken to the other leaders?
No. Lord Bacaro wants the peace talks to occur under controlled conditions. He's worried that if left to our own devices, we'd start another war. And I can't say he's wrong. We're all a bit hot-headed and stubborn, if you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, I mean...
Fills my heart with pride to know the High King knows something of our deeds.
To be fair, he's absolutely correct. Like, there would be a mini Three Invaders war going on in this palace right now if we allowed them to communicate with each other freely.
Do you bring news, my friend? Is Lord Bacaro ready to summon us so we can finally engage in the discussions of peace?
Not yet. The Ascendant Order is still out there, but Lady Arabelle is running down some leads.
Well, that's something, at least. I swear, though, if something doesn't change soon, I'm going to call for Captain Zaji and return to my own domain. I've been absent long enough as it is.
You'd abandon the peace talks?
Locked away for my safety is not what I had imagined when I agreed to attend this conference. I'll abide a little longer, but my royal patience is growing quite thin. Go, my friend. End the threat so we can get to the business that brought us here.
The stories I've heard about Queen Irene are incredible.
It's incredibly weird that Bacaro is delaying the peace talks for so long.
It'll be good to get away from the family a bit.
Did I just accidentally summon Miri? I did as well. Hold on. Let's get Isabel back out.
Stendarr protect us. Let's get out there.
Let's get these supplies on board. The people of Galen need our assistance.
I'll
Lord
take care
Bacaro.
of things here on High Isle in your absence, Lord Bacaro. May the Society's efforts on Galen bring the people of Vestir some relief.
Ha! The defender of the three thrones and the savior of the sisters. I'm afraid you've caught me at a bad time. The Society of the Steadfast is needed in Vestir, and my ship is ready to depart. I decided to oversee the relief efforts personally.
Lady Arabelle sent me. She'd like to get the peace talks underway.
Lady Arabelle uses every weapon in her arsenal. I suppose that's why I hired her. But the timing isn't right, my friend. There's too much at stake to risk another setback. Once the most recent threats have been eliminated, then we may begin.
What recent threats?
I was about to send word to Lady Arabelle. My scouts reported new Ascendant Order activity at the Defort shipyards. I sent a messenger there to confirm these reports, but they have yet to return. I fear Duchess Alea has fooled us all.
Duchess Alea, what do you mean? Is she the Ascendant Lord?
After you discovered that her brother was the Ascendant Magus and killed him, Duchess Alea claimed no involvement. She was stoic in her grief and assured me her brother acted without her permission or foreknowledge. Since you're here...
What are you thinking, Lord Bacaro?
If you're still working with Arabelle, then you can look into the validity of this threat. Discover what became of my messenger at the Defort shipyards. That would ease my mind while I aid Vestir and get us closer to starting the peace talks.
Very well, I'll check out the shipyard. Duchess Leia. I mean, I suppose she could be using magic to disguise her voice, but the Ascendant Lord sounds like a man. And it wouldn't be just the voice, though. It would also have to be other things, because just say the Duchess is not a pancake. The Ascendant Lord is definitely not packing her level of breast. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Iphalon's still smoking really badly too. But it is on the verge of erupting, so. I need to change my... I keep forgetting to change my morph for, from Pulsar to Elemental Ring.
You've met your match.
Knight Captain, the Society of Steadfast sent a messenger named Duncan Genus to the Diffort shipyards. They have orders to confirm our takeover of the shipyards and report our activity to Lord Bacaro Valeris. When the messenger arrives, deal with them. Confirmation of our presence must remain a secret for as long as possible. The Dufort shipyards are vital to our efforts to rebuild our forces. Maintain our control through whatever means you deem necessary, the Ascendant Lord. Hello, Joe. Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Hold on, let me turn you up a little bit. You must have knocked the thing and turned it down yesterday. There we go. Hopefully.
Okay. Okay.
So, Lord Bacaro sent us to check on the Dufort shipyards, which he believes is taken over by the Ascendant Order, which he is absolutely correct. The docks are crawling with the Ascendant Order again. And he believes that Duchess Leia may in fact be the Ascendant Lord. Which, there's a problem with that theory. Even if, to say, she was using magic to disguise her voice, is she modifying her body with magic every time she dons the armor too? Because she's definitely not a pancake, if you catch my drift.
I mean, it could do that, or it could be, like, she's the mind and then she has someone else be the Ascendant Lord while she controls what they say and do from the shadows.
I suppose that's a theory. I mean, I know it's not correct, because I
know that, but I know that was in the Night Entry trilogy. Basically the godfather of the city was just a figurehead, but the real leader was another of the council instead, and
Alright, let's return to Mandrake Manor and tell Lady Arabelle what's going on. I just noticed, I happened to have been in your profile in Discord. It says you joined on February 14th, 2016. So Valentine's Day 2016 you joined Discord. You know what's ironic is that you're not the only one. Coat also joined Discord on February 14th, 2016. That's a coincidence. Yeah, I didn't join Discord until June of 2016. remember why I joined Discord. I mean, I know why I stayed on Discord, but I can't remember the original reason why I joined Discord in 2016. Because that would have been before we started playing. That was before I set up my game, I think. Yeah, because I think it was August or September I set up the Curse of Strahd game.
5 o'clock. Terrible news. Lady Arabelle has succumbed to some unknown malady. She's upstairs in bed waiting for you.
Lady Arabelle is sick? That's terrible timing. Oh, this isn't
Welcome back, dear. And wipe that expression off your face. I'm not dead yet.
Lady Arabelle.
I want to hear all...
Need to rest.
I want to hear all about your conversations with the Alliance leaders and Lord Bakara, dear. But I think we need to deal with this situation I find myself in first, if that's all right with you.
What's wrong with you, Lady Arabelle?
Poison, I should think. It has all the usual signs. Right after you left, I received a package. My favorite wine. And a note of congratulations for saving the Alliance leaders. I should have known better than to pour a glass, but here we are.
Age is definitely catching up with you, Lady Arabelle. Most people wouldn't make a mistake like that. Any idea who sent you the wine?
The note was suspiciously vague about that. If I hadn't been tired and thinking about 12 dozen other things, that should have set off a warning bell. Instead, no matter. Tell me, is Lord Bakara ready to start the peace talks?
Not yet. He sent me to the Dufort shipyards. The Ascendant Lord is still using them.
How can that be? Duchess Alea assured me she had retaken control of her shipyards. We'll deal with that later. Right now, I need you to figure out where that package came from. Determine who wants me out of the way. Nothing has been touched.
I'll figure out who sent the poison, Lady Arabelle.
Everything is still exactly where I left it. Examine the note and bottle carefully. See if you can trace them back to their origin. And talk to Ravana. She's been working to identify the poison and figure out an antidote. My life is in your hands.
Do you often receive gifts from unidentified admirers?
More often than you might expect, actually. Comes with the
territory. Yes, it's how I got several of my sons.
Still,
I
should have been more careful.
I mean, for all we know, she could have a son from the king,
that.
even. Like, she definitely
People
hinted that she's done the horizontal tango with the king.
Want to take credit.
Any idea who might have sent the poisoned wine to you?
Just guesses. I suspected the Ascendant Lord, but your news about the Dufort shipyards concerns me. Did we misjudge Duchess Alea? Was she working with her brother? Is she part of the Ascendant Order? We need evidence before we can make an accusation.
Yep. Let's check out the poisoning stuff first. Congratulations on another success. To Lady Arabelle I know that's a French last name, but I can't pronounce it properly. Mandrake Manor. It's D-A-V-A-U-X.
Devo.
Devo. The X sounds like an O.
Yeah, the X is silent. A lot of last letter consonants in French are silent.
Okay, so to Lady Arabelle Dervaux. Mandrake Manor, Gonflin Bay. Once again, you have outdone yourself, my lady. I am quite certain that your actions... I'm quite certain that by your actions, the leaders of the three alliances were spared a grueling and painful death, and peace remains not only a hope, but a real possibility. Please enjoy this rare vintage with my compliments, and keep up the good work. From a devoted and grateful admirer.
Aside from the anonymous signature,
Let's put the work in.
It's the same as other notes I've received.
Okay, Dufort Singular Amber.
Any distinctive markings on the bottle, dear?
Way to check that. Yeah, singular amber, second era, 571. The wine smells faintly of garlic.
She's a vampire!
No, she's not a vampire.
That's why she's sick!
Actually, there's only one vampire in Elder Scrolls history that's actually weak to garlic. And that's one vampire in Oblivion. Every other vampire in Elder Scrolls apparently doesn't have that weakness. So he has an allergy to garlic. Which he probably had in life before he was turned into a vampire. It just got expounded by the fact that he was a vampire.
Lady Arabelle is fortunate that Zaji sent for me, and not one of the Society of the Steadfast's Menders. They wouldn't have been able to counteract the poison.
What do you mean?
This poison smells slightly of garlic, and has all the earmarks of a druidic compound, but its effects remind me of much older recipes. No healer without druidic training would have even recognized some of the ingredients that make up the poison.
So you were able to nullify the poison?
No. But I have given Lady Arabelle a tincture that will keep her stable and slow down the poison's most deadly effects. I need to return to my workshop, analyze the components, and consult my ancient herbal apothecary. I'm sure I've seen this before.
What should I do?
Just what Lady Arabelle asked. Discover where the poisoned wine came from and who sent it. I'll leave more of my tincture with Zaji and give him exact instructions. Then I need to go do research of my own. Meet me at my workshop as soon as you can.
I would give those instructions to the Casca, because Zaji doesn't really listen to instructions very well.
Oh, I really hate being so impotent. Ravana tells me her tincture defers the worst effects of the poison, but I still feel weak. Like my blood is on fire. Enough of my problems. Tell me what you saw when you examined the note and the bottle.
The note doesn't reveal much, but the bottle bears the House Dufort seal. It's a singular amber.
Let me guess. The 571 vintage. I'd be hard-pressed to refuse such an exquisite wine. Ashcroft's Fine Goods and Imports. Only place on the island that might have any bottles available, other than the Duchess's private stores. Go talk to them, dear.
I'll go see what I can learn at Ashcroft's Fine Goods and Imports.
Ask for Fillion Ashcroft, the proprietor. He knows me well and keeps a spot in Bayside Artisans here in town. And while Ravana works on an antidote, I'll send Zaji to make sure the Alliance leaders don't accept any mysterious gifts.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, I think anybody involved in this group right now should not be drinking out of anything but a personal hip flask. We should all emulate Mad Eye Moody at the moment.
Hmm.
You know, not turning people into weasels, but also not necessarily into weasels.
But also, not getting ambushed outside your own house, and not getting killed by a shot to the face. That also sounds like things you shouldn't do. Oh, wait.
To be fair, he went down as a hit. It was Mundungus's fault that he got shot. If Mundungus hadn't disapparated at that exact moment and Moody wasn't distracted, he wouldn't have got hit, probably.
No, not necessarily. Voldemort was already there, so it's not like, he just got outfought.
Oh no. One of my supports holding up my PlayStation's thing that it's on has fallen again. That's going to be a pain in the butt. It takes two people to lift the shelf that it's on, and I have to do it alone, so that's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to have to move my PlayStation down after the stream and fix that, because if I don't,
Welcome to
my PlayStation might get smashed if the shelf falls again.
I don't know why you put it on a shelf if it's that unstable.
Is awkward.
Yeah,
Castle Navir's Seneschal placed the order.
The only place I
Claimed
could put
he
it
needed to
on
replenish the cellars for
and
Duchess
I didn't
Alea,
realize it was
and
unstable
demanded I
dad
sell
made
back
it.
the
My dad
wine
doesn't
I
usually
had
make things
purchased
that are
from them.
unstable, so.
That exact vintage, to be precise. You'll want to talk to them.
Yeah, I just clicked through his dialogue really quick because I was distracted. I shouldn't have done that. Oops. It's fine. Basically, he just said, hey, go find Duchess Alea and talk to her. We acquired some bottles from her personal vintage.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can't hear it anyway, remember?
Yeah. Mostly it's for the benefit of the people watching the stream, so if there is anyone watching the stream. I wonder if my voice can be heard? Yeah, no, it's streaming. Okay. Was definitely questioning it there for a second. The thing is, that wasn't down there last night. It must have fallen sometime during the night. Because it was definitely, when I was sitting here yesterday while we were playing the game, like, you know, D&D, that wasn't down, like, on the ground. It was, like, in its proper spot. So it must have slipped out sometime during the night. Okay, so we're going to find Duchess Aleia, and Duchess Aleia will be at Castle Navir. See tonight.
Ready to ride.
Hero.
There she is. Duchess Aleia is reading a book in the office of the Knight Commander.
Lady Arabelle's assistant? How good to see you again. But I don't remember your name on my schedule today. Did we have an appointment?
I have some difficult questions to ask you, Duchess.
Do tell. Well, go ahead. After everything you've done for the people of the archipelago, you've earned the right to be direct with me.
Lady Arabelle was poisoned. The wine was part of a large order your essential placed recently.
Lady Arabelle poisoned? Is she all right? But what was that about wine? I haven't placed any orders recently. Not while the castle is still in disrepair. And I haven't appointed a new seneschal since that trouble with Steward Hercian.
What about the Ascendant Order? They control the Dufort shipyards.
Again? I thought my knights ran them off after that terrible business with my brother. Thank you for bringing me the news. I'll send a battalion to deal with them right away. I know how this must look, but I am not in league with those malcontents.
Lord Bacaro seems to think otherwise.
Did he? Well, I want the Ascendant Lord brought to justice, the same as you. That wine that poisoned Lady Arabelle, was it a Dufort Singular Amber? Vintage 571? I received a similar gift this morning. It's in the Knight Commander's private chamber.
I should examine the gift you received.
The Knight Commander insisted that the anonymous gift be tested before I consumed so much as a drop. It's in her private chamber, waiting for one of my handmaidens to come by and taste it. Feel free to perform your own investigation.
It's probably a good thing your handmaiden didn't taste it. Thank you. Tell me more about this gift you received, Duchess.
There's not much to say. It arrived without fanfare, with an anonymous note. The vintage was my father's favorite. He was still new to his role as Duke when the vineyard turned out those precious bottles.
Why would someone send you a gift of your own wine?
We depleted our own stores of that vintage a long time ago. But everyone at court knows I was fond of that wine. We opened a bottle once a year to celebrate my father and the elevation of House Dufort. I was quite sad when we uncorked the last one.
Somebody had inside information then. For your next celebration. This is the same handwriting too. To Duchess Aleia Dufort, Castle Navir. As the anniversary of the ascension of House Dufort approaches, I thought you might like a bottle of your family's favorite wine. I know how hard these are to come by. May you raise a glass to your house and to your father's memory, and long may House Dufort reign over the archipelago. From a devoted and grateful admirer. That sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
Well, you know, the other one's dead, right? So, you know, they're not going to tell. Or so they hope.
What do you think? Did someone send me the same gift that poisoned poor Lady Arabelle?
The note and the wine are the same. Do you have any idea where the gift came from?
As we discussed, and you no doubt noticed, the letter was unsigned. My knight commander insisted on having someone else taste the wine before she would allow any to pass my lips. I'm just glad you arrived before that happened.
Yeah, you would have had a dead handmaiden on your hands if you couldn't get
Well,
a
not
druid.
necessarily. Arabelle's still alive.
Because she got a druid to come help her. I was like, the Duchess doesn't really have a druid on call that she can come and have save her handmaiden.
That sounds like her problem.
Yes, but we're no closer to figuring out who sent the poison wine.
Hold on. Earlier you mentioned that the shopkeep claimed that my seneschal placed an order for a large amount of wine. While we did no such thing, one of my sentries informed me that a courier had arrived with an unscheduled delivery.
Right, I noticed them when talking when I arrived at the castle. The sentry ordered them to wait.
Then your answer may be right outside. I told the sentry to have them wait by the jousting tents until I was ready to deal with the mix-up. Talk to the courier, and find out who hired them to deliver the incriminating bottles of wine to my castle.
I'll go talk to the courier.
Someone has gone to a lot of trouble to try and remove both myself and Lady Arabelle from the table, while also focusing the blame for this all on me. Speak to the courier, and get some answers. Or I will.
And I don't think her way of getting answers is going to involve, hey, who sent this? It could be more like, does this hurt? Ow, 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 ow!
To sow confusion and weaken House Dufort, of course. And to further delay the peace talks. Perhaps even scuttle them completely. I have political rivals, but none who would stoop to murder. If I had to guess, this is the work of the Ascendant Order.
Gosh, I'm just imagining... So, you've seen Deadpool 2, right, Joe?
I have.
You remember the scene where Cable had Wade's friend tied up and it's like, we're going to find out your tolerance for pain together. He's like, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't do pain well.
It's like, I will tell you anything you want to know.
Yeah.
He just, no hesitation, just...
He folded like a house of cards. It's like, nope. Do you think the Ascendant Lord sent the poison wine?
I fear we'll find the Ascendant Lord's hand on the tiller of most of the recent events that have plagued the archipelago. Call it a feeling deep in my bones. In the meantime, talk to this courier and see what they reveal about whoever hired them.
It's like, you don't even have to start torturing me. I'm gonna tell you everything you want to know.
With the Great Shackle destroyed, has the plane mail been
Cable's like,
stopped?
but I like torturing people.
Are you from the castle? Can I finally make my delivery and be done with this damn job?
Can you tell me who hired you to make this delivery? Was it Ashcroft's Fine Good and Imports?
Ashcroft's? No. Some hooded figures hired me to take some crates to an isolated spot up north. That's where I met another hooded figure. He helped unload my wagon, gave me the crates for Castle Navir, and told me to make the delivery.
Tell me about these hooded figures. Did they give you any names?
No names. Just enough gold to make me not want to ask any questions. You did hear me say we were in an isolated location, right? But if it helps, they were definitely wearing armor under their hooded cloaks. Knight armor.
Can you tell me where this isolated location was exactly?
Right below the cliffs of Garrick's Rest. Look, I know how all this sounds, but I needed this job. Courier work has been hard to come by since the trouble here and on Galen. All I know is I delivered one set of crates and received another for Navir.
Okay, but that tells us where we need to go.
Zaji has found you!
Zaji, you're supposed to be with Lady Arabelle. Who's making sure she takes her medicine? Casca. It just shows Casca holding a bottle in her mouth. It's like, okay, offer it up! And Arabelle's like, oh, look. If you don't remember, Joe, Casca doesn't have hands. She's she's more of a giant cat type Khajiit, so she doesn't have hands. She has claws.
Lady Arabelle wasn't improving, so Zoji went to find Druid Revana. Do not worry, Five Claw. Casca stands guard at Mandrake Manor. Instead of giving this one more medicine, Revana sent me to find you.
Did Druid Ravana tell you what she wanted?
Druid Revana wants you to come to her workshop right away. Do you know where it is? Just west of Gonfalon Bay and north of Druid's Gate. When you see her, remind her that Lady Arabelle still needs the antidote.
I'll go talk to the druid.
Oh, that makes Zachi feel much better. It was good to get out of the manor and do something. All this waiting makes Zachi's ears itch. This one will head back to the manor and make sure Lady Arabelle is taking her tincture.
Okay, well, at least it's Zaji who's making sure she takes it, because like I said, I can't imagine Casca being very gentle giving her medicine. Whee!
Ah, there you are. I hope you've had more success than I, my friend. I thought that I'd be able to replicate an antidote using some of the old recipes in my ancient herbal apothecary, but nothing I've concocted thus far has worked. This poison is proving very resistant to our tried and true elixirs.
Were you mistaken about the ingredients used to make the poison?
That's just it. I identified the various plants, root, stem, and leaf, but they aren't those plants. Not exactly.
I don't understand.
Neither did I, at least not at first. But after careful study, I can see that someone with extensive agricultural knowledge created new and more potent versions of the rare plants used to prepare the poison. Oh, did you discover who sent the wine?
The wine came from Ashcroft's shop, but someone at Garrick's Rest bought it and added the poison.
Garrick's Rest? Strange magic saturates the wildlife around those ruins. If that's the source of the poison, I'll need samples to craft an antidote. Meet me there. I fear we could be dealing with another rogue druid, and a powerful one at that.
I'll meet you at Garrick's Rest.
We'll need to proceed carefully once we get to Garrick's Rest. If we are dealing with a powerful druid, we won't be able to avoid them for long.
Why do you think a druid is behind this? The courier described a knight under a hooded cloak.
That sounds like the Ascendant Order. But only a skilled druid could alter plants and create this vile poison. We know they worked with the Eldertide Circle before. Maybe they still have some druid allies assisting them.
How long can Lady Arabelle hold on without an antidote?
The tincture I provided will slow the poison's spread, but it won't hold off the inevitable forever. She should be all right for a while longer, but I do recommend we hurry. Once I have a sample of the plants, I know I can craft an antidote.
Alright, let's do this. To Garrick's Rest. Alright, well, the closest way shrine to Garrick's Rest, anyways. Sorry, this is a very dialogue-heavy part of the game. By the way, next week, probably on Thursday, I'll be doing a stream of all of the New Life quests, because there's actually quite a bit of like little lore tidbits there, and I've never streamed them before, so I feel like it would be an interesting stream to run through. So it'll probably be next Thursday. Huh?
When?
Probably be next Thursday. So.
I can't promise I'll be there one way or the other.
That's fine. On Friday, I'll be streaming the Christmas Final Fantasy 14 event as well, because they're like both of them are starting on the same date. I really want to stream both of those in the same day. So. Goat smuggling, fraud, excessive. The charges include larceny, goat smuggling, fraud, and excessive use of profanity in the presence of a noble. Sounds about right. I'd like to know how you goat smuggle, though. Goats are not very small, so it's kind of hard to smuggle goats. Plus, they smell awful.
Friend, look. It appears something heavy was dragged up and down this hill recently. A door. That's definitely where whatever made the marks came from.
Into another part of Garrick's Rest that we haven't been to before. A vast series of halls and chambers stretch beneath Garrick's Rest. Like the keep itself, the space below is ruined and abandoned. I'm surprised the ghost of Garrick's servant allowed these people to get down here and do stuff. Because he was very upset when anyone else came into the
I don't think
area.
We're alone down here.
We're in this together.
The Ascendant Order has been hiding here for a while. Lord Bacaro was right to be concerned.
That was weird.
Take a look at that pile of paper.
Welcome, Ascendant Initiates. There are many who believe we were defeated after the events at All Flags Islet. But the flame of our vision is not so easily snuffed out. You have followed rumors and whispers to find us. Soon, others will join you in a growing swell of opposition to the royal warmongers that rule our lands. An uprising is coming to the Citres. The events on Galen are only the beginning. Join your druid brothers and sisters in taking back what is rightfully ours. The dream of Cascarin will come to pass, and together we will reclaim the legacy of the Bretons. You have my word, the Ascendant Lord.
The Ascendant Lord is recruiting disillusioned druids after the events on Galen. Insidious.
Well, we know it's not Duchess Alea now, so who else could be the Ascendant Lord, I wonder?
We don't want to do this.
In a twist of fate, it's Zaji. Or Riggert the Brash. That would be hilarious.
I mean, his accents are disastrous enough.
He's not nearly intelligent enough to pull off the con that the Ascendant Lord has been running.
Those must be the crates the courier delivered. Check the labels.
Okay, let's see.
That was it, right?
Stoorbird Express
Sometimes it's hard to tell.
agency from Daggerfall delivered to Steadfast Manor. Content 6 crates of stag and stallion armorers. Attention, Captain Marguerite, Society of the Steadfast. Why do they have steadfast armor
Those
here
were
at
intended
the...
for Steadfast Manor. Why deliver them here?
Yeah, this is
what's
armor
inside
from the Society of the Steadfast.
Society of the Steadfast armor. With that, the Ascendant Order could impersonate Steadfast Knights.
Oh, that's really not good. That was interesting. I just stepped on a magic rune trap and it didn't go off.
Over on that table.
Druid Edrild. Edrild? I understand your garden below Garrick's Rest is blooming perfect. When you receive the shipment of wine, here is how I want you to proceed. Add your newly developed poison to one of the bottles. I have arranged for it to be part of a gift basket for Lady Arabelle. Her suspicions grow and will likely discover our agents in Steadfast Manor if we do not take action. I am sure she won't be able to resist taking a taste of this rare vintage. She does so love her wine. Do the same for the gift we will send to Duchess Alea. Then crate up the rest of the bottles. A courier will meet you outside. Take the delivery from them, then give them the crates of the wine. The courier has orders to deliver them to Castle Nivier. If all goes as planned, both Arabelle and Alea will be dead, and blame will fall squarely on the malcontents in House Dufort. As for the relic, I give it to you for safekeeping while I'm away. If Steadfast Manor becomes compromised in my absence, use it to enter the tunnels below the cellar. Destroy any documents you find there. We must not reveal our true identity until the time is right. The Ascendant Lord.
The Ascendant Lord gave clear orders to this druid alchemist. We need to find that garden. Is that a key over there? We didn't expect the Ascendant Order to wither away, but I had no idea its roots ran so deep. And it seems they have crept into our most trusted circles. Someone at Steadfast Manor diverted this armor shipment here. Let's review what we uncovered.
We've found recruitment handbills directed to the disillusioned druids.
We know that the Ascendant Lord allied with factions of the Eldertide and Firesong circles, but to actively promote a sacred druidic prophecy to gain followers to his cause. What about those crates we found?
The shipping label said they were destined for Steadfast Manor and contained suits of armor.
Armor that the Ascendant Order can use to impersonate Steadfast Knights. I know Captain Marguerite by reputation. We must talk to her about the shipments. But first, I still need to gather samples of the plants used to make the poison.
The letter to the druid alchemist detailed the plan to poison Lady Arabelle and mentioned a garden.
And I assume the key we found will grant us access to this alchemical garden. Then I can craft an antidote for Lady Arabelle. She and Lord Bakara will know how to best handle this situation once she recovers from the poison.
Alright, let's go and try this. Trying to think of a witty thing to say to druids, like when you go to kill them. You know, like if you attack a guard, you're like, you know, go for your sword or like something like that. Like, would you say like go for your berries or go for your nuts or something like that to a druid? Like, oi, druid, go for your nuts. Maybe not.
That door. See if the key we found will unlock it. A druid alchemist's workshop. Let's look around.
Let's kill the druid first.
Here's how we deal with pests in my garden.
Stendar, please bless my good friend here, for they are mighty and
That's
somewhat
what I was
frightening.
looking for. A sister's cave. With these, I should be able to craft an antidote. What did you find over there? I gathered enough of the plant to craft an antidote for Lady Arabelle. She will soon be on her way to a full recovery. Did you find anything interesting in the druid ritual box?
I found this green crystal in the box.
That's a shard of the green. I've never seen an intact one before. Long ago, druids used them to protect sacred locations. The practice withered like leaves on a dying vine, mostly because they were so hard to come by. Hang on to that for now.
What now, Druid Rhea?
Now we do
Ravana, sorry.
exactly what Lady Arabelle would want us to. We follow the clues. Head to Steadfast Manor. We need to talk to Captain Marguerite. I'll meet you there after I start the preparations for the antidote.
I was gonna say, that's kind of more important, so... to get Lady Arabelle back on her feet. Excuse me, sorry.
Sister, we can't just threaten everyone into becoming druids. We need these good folks to appreciate the woods, not fear them.
You fool. No one appreciates the forest on their own. I know these merchants. They'll take all they can and leave the land a husk.
Like, become a druid or else. It's like, what, you'll turn us into a toad? Yes. Is multi-classing one level enough? Sure. Everybody is multi-classing one level druid. Whee. To be fair, the druidcraft cantrip is pretty useful. We have not been back to Steadfast Manor in some time. There you are, Captain Marguerite.
That will be all, Sentry. But what's this? A druid and Lady Arabelle's assistant.
Forgive the intrusion, Captain.
What brings a druid...
My friend will explain.
What brings a druid and Lady Arabelle's most trusted assistant to Steadfast Manor? I'm afraid Lord Bacaro is still on Galen, leading the relief efforts there. Is there something I can help you with?
I found crates in the shipping label addressed to you in an Ascendant Order stronghold.
Interesting. I was informed that those crates were lost at sea, but I suspected there was more going on than a simple accident. Add to that the minor thefts and intruders my knights keep running off, it seems the Ascendant Order has targeted us.
I also found this shardstone. Do you recognize it?
You say you found this with the Ascendant Order? That's one of Lord Bacaro's most prized possessions. He usually keeps it down in the cellars with his collection of trinkets from his adventuring days. Those thieves were bolder than I thought.
So you're claiming that the Society of the Steadfast has nothing to do with the Ascended Order?
Claiming? The Society provides aid to those in need. But it's evident that the Ascendant Order stole from us. You're Lady Arabelle's investigator. Would you check the cellars and help me determine how those thieves got past our security?
I'll see if I notice anything out of the ordinary in the cellars.
Take this key. It will open the door to the cellars. Just follow the path to the north toward the dock. If the Ascendant Order is stealing from the Society of the Steadfast, we need to know how and why.
Tell me about these efforts on Galen.
The Society of the Steadfast's primary charter involves providing relief to those unfortunate enough to be caught up in war or disaster. Galen was recently rocked by both brutal assaults and volcanic activity. We're sending supplies and healers.
You seem to know me, but I don't believe we've met.
Not officially, no. But Lord Bacaro tells me everything. I handle the day-to-day workings of the Society of the Steadfast and command our small contingent of knights. When Lord Bacaro travels, I oversee operations at Steadfast Manor.
Alright, let's head into the cellars. The plot thickens. The plot clump. Oh well, that's an ominous picture for a cellar. It's a druidic circle in the middle of a cellar. That's weird. Cellars beneath steadfast manners where I store the mementos of my life before. A lot of interesting things in here. There's a pillow, there's some plates, a bowl, a couple books, there's a flute. Is that a flute? Or... no, it looks like maybe like a tomahawk type thing. Some weird rocks stacked up on top of... it's like they buried this thing under rocks to keep it from floating away, maybe perhaps? More rocks over here. A wheelbarrow full of rocks. Bunch of books, more books.
That empty sconce. See the druid symbols carved into it? Check if the shard fits into the socket.
It's worth a try. I'm just checking everything out before we do anything like that, so. Alright, so place the stone in the druidic sconce.
Just as I suspected, a hidden door. Let's see what other secrets this manor is hiding.
It's a cave.
A passage leading deeper beneath the manor. Let's see what Lord Bacaro is hiding down here.
Rats, for one thing. He's got rats down here. It's probably not good.
A druid circle. And an ancient one by the looks of it. I want to get a closer look. This place feels sacred. Ancient. Did Lord Bacaro know it was down here? And why keep it a secret? Instead of answers, suddenly we have more questions.
Do you know where we are, Ravana?
Somewhere beneath Steadfast Manor. But if you're asking what purpose it serves, that's an ancient druid circle. It's a place of power and meditation from long ago. As far as I know, the Stonelore Circle isn't aware this location even exists.
Why would Lord Bacaro keep a place like this a secret?
I'm not sure. But stones as old as these, they hold memories, emotions from ages past. Some believe they can tap into that power, use it for their own purposes. There may be a perfectly benign reason to keep such a place secret.
You don't sound convinced.
More often than not, places such as this are forgotten for a reason. Let's see what else we can learn, and depart this ancient hall as soon as we can.
Well, I see part of the problem. He's got himself a Spriggan infestation. Joe, get the big boot.
Stendarr was with us in that fight.
We gotta stomp him. But maybe the boot won't work. Get the chainsaw.
Powerful spirits often guard locations such as this. Be careful.
My question is, if these spirits guard this place, how has Lord Bacaro not been killed by them? He's got a chimera down here, by the way.
Down there. Let's get a closer look. Those carvings. Definitely druidic.
Yeah. So, Lord Bacaro's secret
I had a
druid
brother at
chamber
Firebrand Keep.
has a suit
I
of
mourn
armor
his
that's
loss,
an exact match
but I
for
am
the
grateful
Ascendant
you
Lords.
restored order there.
Alright, let's read the Ancient Druidic Bloodlines book. A genealogy and in-depth study commissioned by Lady Lorana Murchad. After an extensive study, I can say with reasonable certainty that your family has always what your family's always suspected is most positively true. The Merked bloodline is indeed an ancient Breton bloodline, dating back to the first appearance of the half-elf race in High Rock. Furthermore, I found clear evidence that the family as it is known today can trace their ancestry to druids who arrived in the Citrus archipelago with the original flotilla of the druids of Galen, the very same that departed High Rock in the First Era. Moreover, I feel confident in proclaiming that not only were the Marchards members of the Bretons' original druidic ancestors, that they were also certainly of royal bloodline, if you consider Druid King Castoran to be the equivalent to the aristocrats who govern High Rock in the current era. Add to that, we know of the Volrus bloodline, and your son will inherit the best of both dynasties. Why else would House Murad's history heraldry be rendered as 3 cups spilling seeds and leaves, if not for their druidic connection? What follows is a complicated genealogy working backwards from the time of the writing to the ancient days of the original druids of Galen. Castrin, the last druid king, is clearly shown in the family tree. The last entries from the time of the writing appear as follows. Lady Lorera Machard, 2nd Era 521. Lord Lucian Volrus, 2nd Era 516. Married, 2nd Era 538. Lord Bacaro Volrus, 2nd Era 540. So actually both of his parents are still alive, actually. That's interesting. Because if they were dead, it would have their death date. Lord Bacaro's journal. Most recent entries follow. At first, my rage at the failures on High Island Galen knew no bounds. I had set up everything for success. The Alliance leaders should have died at sea, but they were too stubborn, and my Magus failed to kill them at all flags. If Lady Arabelle's champion hadn't killed the fool, I would have. They have foiled my plans on Galen. House Bernard would have fallen, and I would have a unified Druidic empire as my ally. Then I could have disbanded the Society of the Steadfast and replaced it with my Ascendant Order. The Magus was too arrogant, Archdruid Orioloth too hesitant. I cannot allow others to fail me again. A new Druid King must rise to fulfill the prophecy and claim the sacred regalia. I have always intended this moment. It's my blood heritage, after all. I am the last living descendant of Druid King Castrin. Through my mother's bloodline, the legacy of the Bretons is mine to claim. I would have been content to let Orioloth rule for a time, while I consolidated power and formulated plans, but she was too weak. I see that I must step forward now. I must replace the corruption of the Ruby Throne with the purity of the Ivory Throne, as nature demands. When I claim the regalia and wake the true power of Mount Firesong, I will bury the current order in fire and ash. And from those ashes a new order will rise, not of brittle rubies and stone, but of ivy and vines, and roots that entwine and grow and spread. A new green age will dawn, nourished on the blood of the old. He's gonna wipe out all life as we know it, with Mount Firesong.
Like the Ascendant Lord, doesn't it? What's the connection here? Why does the Ascendant Order care about this place? And why does Lord Bacaro have a suit of the Ascendant Lord's armor?
I found a journal written by Lord Bacaro. In it, he admitted to being the Ascendant Lord.
What? But Lord Bacaro is a man of peace. Why secretly control the very order of rogue knights that are actively trying to destroy everything he's worked for? I don't understand.
And while it was a brilliant double play, I totally saw through him the moment he didn't show up with reinforcements on all flags, because he went to get help and he never showed up. That was the moment I was suspicious that he was the Ascendant Lord. Lord Bacaro wanted the Firesong to unite the Druids. He wants the Circles to crown a new Druid King.
So he helped foster the conflicts on Galen, then stepped in to help with the Steadfast after the dust settled. all while making alliances with the victors. But his plans failed. No new druid king has been crowned.
I also found this genealogy. It indicates that Lord Bacaro is a descendant of the last druid king.
Let me see that. Could this be accurate? Could Lord Bacaro be a direct descendant of Druid King Cassarain? Oh no. The carvings. I think I know why this place is important to Lord Bacaro. Examine the carvings. I'll explain what I see in them.
I'll examine the carvings.
Do you see? That's a stylized rendition of the Ivy Throne, with the Druid King's regalia, the crown, staff, and gauntlet below it. Carved above the throne. That's the heraldry of House Mershad. So, Lord Bacaro, the Ascendant Lord, believes he's descended from the last Druid King through his mother's bloodline. He wants to become the Druid King and re-establish the Ivy Throne. That's why he went to Galen. He needs the Druid King's regalia.
So what's so important about the Druid King's regalia?
In and of themselves, the regalia have no innate power. They're symbols, nothing more. However, the very fact that the sacred seeds have been regrown into the crown, staff, and gauntlet give credence to the prophecy of the Druid King.
Remind me about this prophecy.
The dream of Cassarain. The druids of the archipelago have debated its meaning since it was first uttered so long ago. With the regalia, Lord Bacaro can proclaim that the conditions of the prophecy have been met and that he's the new Druid King.
Would the druids really believe that?
The prophecy holds deep significance for druids. We've been waiting for its promise to manifest for a long time. We have to hurry. I must administer the antidote to Lady Arabelle and warn her of this betrayal. Meet me back at Mandrake Manor.
What about Captain Marguerite? Should we tell her what we uncovered?
Captain Marguerite's reputation is impeccable, and she seemed unaware of all this. But the same could be said about Lord Bacaro. Until we determine how far this corruption has spread into the Society of the Steadfast, we keep this to ourselves.
That's a fair point, because the thing is that he created the Order of the Steadfast. It's not like he joined it and rose through the ranks and took over it. He built the Society of the Steadfast from the ground up. Everyone who's in it is a suspect. You know, for such an intelligent man, he made a really stupid mistake when he hired Lady Arabelle to to make sure that everything went well. He did it because she had the credence and the clout to get the alliance leaders together, but he basically ensured his own downfall by hiring her. Because she hired Jacquard, and Jacquard hired us. Because we were friends with Jacquard. Well, this is embarrassing. He's technically our employer, so I guess we're going to have to terminate our contract ourselves.
Lady Arabelle, drink this. It will neutralize the poison. We discovered the source of the poison, and something more. Our friend will tell you.
I knew you wouldn't let me down. Tell me what you uncovered, dear.
Yeah, you definitely should still be lying down, Lady Arabelle.
Ugh. Couldn't you have added a touch of cinnamon or honey to this, Ravana? No matter. I assume I will be hale and hearty again before long. Now, enough with this suspense. Tell me what you've uncovered, dear.
Lord Bacaro is the Ascendant Lord. He sent the poisoned wine to you and Duchess Alea.
The poison must have affected my hearing. Did you say Lord Bacaro is the Ascendant Lord? How can that be? He sponsored the peace talks. He started the Society of the Steadfast, which has done nothing but good for the archipelago and the mainland.
I found his journal. He admitted his crimes and claims to be a direct descendant of the Druid King.
Looking at things from this perspective puts the delays and how the Ascendant Order has managed to stay one step ahead of us in a very different light. But why go through all this trouble? What is Lord Bacaro actually planning?
From what we found under Steadfast Manor, we think he wants to be the next Druid King.
Ah, I feel better already. Well done, dear Ravana. As for this business about the Druid King, I read the reports from Galen. Some druids truly believe that the Ivy Throne would be an improvement over the Ruby one. But all this chaos and murder...
What should we do, Lady Arabelle?
We've been hesitant for too long, unsure of where the next attack would come from. Now we know. It's coming from inside our circle, from someone we considered an ally, a friend. Take this, my friend. We'll deal with Bacaro soon enough. I can't in good conscience start the peace talks while the Ascendant Lord, the man I knew as Lord Bacaro, is out there doing who knows what. I'm afraid I need your help again, my friend. We must keep the Druid King's regalia out of Bacaro's hands.
Bacaro already has the gauntlet, but Count Stefan and Druid Laurel have the crown and staff.
Then we must assume that Count Stefan and Druid Laurel are in danger. If Lord Bacaro truly believes he's the heir to the Ivy Throne of the Druids, he'll stop at nothing to get his way. We must go to Galen and defend the remaining regalia.
What do you need me to do?
Druid Ravana and I will get Zaji to sail us to Galen. While we collect the staff from the Stone Lore Circle, I want you to go to Count Stefan and protect the Druid King's crown. We'll meet you at Castle Mornard as soon as we can.
I'll head to Vasir and help Count Stefan.
I'll leave Captains Colleen and Suzo to guard the Alliance leaders while we go to Galen. First we protect the regalia. Then we stop Lord Bacaro, or the Ascendant Lord, or whatever he calls himself. Now, get to Vastir and protect the crown.
Why can't we just start the peace talks?
Because we don't know how far-reaching Bacaro's conspiracy is. The Alliance leaders are safe inside the palace, with their loyal captains watching over them. And we don't want them to hear of this betrayal yet. It would end the talks in a flash.
What happens if Lord Bacaro gets all 3 items of the Druid King's regalia?
I don't really know. I'm not an expert on Druidic law and prophecy. According to what you and Ravana discovered, Bacaro believes he's a direct descendant of Kasserine, the last Druid King. If he gains the regalia, he could make a claim for the title.
And the Druid circles would accept him as their king?
I never underestimate anything when it comes to religious fervor, my dear. If nothing else, his connection to this legacy gives him a legitimate claim to power through his mother's bloodline. And many might see the Ivy Throne as preferable to the Ruby one.
How are you feeling, Lady Arabelle? Did the antidote work?
Druid Ravana's elixir has done wonders. I feel stronger already. Still, I was weak from the poison for a long time. I expect my recovery will be slow but persistent. Don't worry, dear. I'll leave the dangerous work to you and Ravana for now.
Alright, we're heading back to Galen. This is the quest that can glitch out if you're not careful, so I have to be very careful doing this quest, otherwise I might have to start the entire thing all over again. Which, as you can guess, will not be fun. Yeah, I keep seeing this pop-up tooltip that talks about how real game masters will always have the Ouroboros symbol next to their name, but I have never seen a real game master in the PlayStation server before. Or even somebody claiming to be a game master. Just one of those things, I guess.
Search the castle. If there are more rogue knights, I want them in chains.
We routed them from the library, but I'll make sure nothing was damaged or stolen.
I'm glad to see you again, friend. I just wish your arrival didn't coincide with another crisis.
What's going on, Count Stefan?
A contingent of knights from the Society of the Steadfast entered the castle. Not in and of itself a concern, we are allies after all. But we weren't informed of a visit. When one of my knights saw them go into the library, she went to investigate.
What did your knight find?
She discovered them ransacking the library. They attacked her, but she was able to fend them off and summon help. My knights routed the villains, but we're unsure if anything was stolen, or if there are more of them hiding elsewhere in the castle.
It could be the Ascendant Order. They recently stole armor from the Society.
The Ascendant Order? The rogue knights that gave you trouble back on High Isle. What would they be seeking in my castle?
We discovered that Lord Bacaro is their Ascendant Lord. He wants the Druid King's regalia.
And those imposters must have been looking for the Druid King's crown. Come, we need to check the library at once. And later, I want to hear more about your accusations concerning Lord Bacaro.
Don't tell me you put the crown in the library.
I assumed it would be safe enough locked in a case in the library until I could make other arrangements. We had no reason to believe the relics were in danger. Besides, I only returned to the castle a moment before you arrived.
Where were you when the intruders arrived?
At the docks preparing to receive Lord Bacaro's ship and the relief supplies he promised. It never arrived. I suppose that was all part of the ruse based on what you just told me. Now, let's go make sure the crown is still safely locked away.
I'm guessing it probably isn't. Oh man, they desecrated this poor library. Bookshelves toppled everywhere. It's like they weren't very gentle.
Let's see if the case is still here.
You okay, Joe? Okay.
You're too late, fools. The crown belongs
So I
to
was
the
doing
Ascendant
something
Order
on
now.
mobile game and I had to concentrate, so fuck up.
You're fine.
No, the case is empty. But how do they know to search the library, let alone behind the shelves? They stole the crown right out of my own castle. How is this possible? You said Lord Bacaro is behind this. I think you better tell me what you know.
Lord Bacaro is the Ascendant Lord. He believes he's the descendant of the last Druid King.
If you go back far enough, most Bretons have a druid hiding somewhere in their bloodline, but so many records have been lost. How could he be certain? Regardless, why the ruse with the peace talks and the Ascendant Order?
He wants to be crowned as the new Druid King, replace the Ruby Throne with the Ivory Throne.
So Bacaro was behind it all. The attempts on the lives of the Alliance leaders, the death of the Archdruids, of Raval and my father. Wait, Druid Laurel! The staff, Laurel and Free, are in danger!
Lady Arabelle has gone to the Stonemoor encampment to warn Druid Laurel.
Orlaith may have believed in a new age, but Bacaro is leading us toward the Green Scourge. King Cassarane's prophecy of the return of the Druid King. It predicts two possibilities. Either an era of peace and harmony, or a time of nature run amok.
What should we do?
Go to Glimmertarn and make sure Laurel and the staff are safe. I'll gather what knights I can spare. See if Captain Siravane is willing to aid us once more. I have a feeling we'll need all the help we can get to stop Bacaro and his Ascendant Order.
Captain Siravane is still on the island?
Siravane is a mercenary, but she and her Gilded Blade proved themselves trustworthy against the Dreadsails and the Firesong. Since then, we've been paying her to help with the relief efforts. We needed every ship we could hire.
Ferrying supplies and the wounded is one thing. Will she agree to fight alongside us again?
I won't know until I ask. And if she refuses, you'll still have House Mornard at your side in the battle to come. Now hurry, my friend. Go make sure the staff and Druid Laurel are safe.
Of course. I'll go make sure your girlfriend is safe, Stefan. Although I'm sure Druid Oliver will be very displeased when he finds out. Druid Tommy probably will be displeased too, actually, come to think of it. Druid Sarah was like, yes, more for me!
I thought our troubles were over after all the death and destruction, but something worse is coming, Feda.
I feel it too, like a dark storm on the horizon.
I'm worried, Feda. I don't think Galen's troubles are over.
Even our favorite lovers are worried about what's coming.
The Doomcrack, it collapsed. I just hope that terrible Montclair was under it when it fell.
Tell you what though, this does paint the collapse of the Citadel in a new light when it comes to Lord Bacaro. Because he was the only survivor, so do you think he was partially responsible for the cathedral coming down? Don't know how he would have arranged it, but...
Druidkin! Oh, thank Ifray you're here. Something terrible has happened. This way!
Druid Laurel.
Rotten damnation! Lord Bacaro, he betrayed us!
Well, she's found out that he's a traitor. Tell me everything that happened, Laurel.
Lord Bacaro and a contingent of steadfast knights arrived with their usual crates of supplies. He took me aside, warned me that the Ascendant Order was after the Druid King's regalia. He wanted to make sure the staff was still safe.
What did you do then?
Blight it all. But I did just what you'd expect. He's our ally, or I thought he was. I showed him that the staff was safe, and he grabbed it. Ordered his knights to hold us back. He has all three of the regalia, friend. All three.
Then what happened, Laurel?
We tried to resist, but we were no match for his knights. Then Bacaro displayed the regalia, proclaimed himself the Druid King, and commanded Free to follow him. And they did. That's when Lady Arabelle arrived. Wait, Stefan, is he all right?
Count Stefan is fine. Where's Lady Arabelle now?
As soon as I explained what happened, Lady Arabelle and her companions went after Bacaro. I told them we saw him leading Free toward Ifray's path. I stayed behind to tend to the wounded. But this smacks of the Green Scourge. I'll go with you.
Any idea why Lord Bacaro would take Free to Ifray's path?
How should I know how that blighter thinks? Lady Arabelle told me that he's the Ascendant Lord, which now makes sense. As soon as he revealed his treachery, his knights threw off their cloaks and revealed themselves to be the Ascendant Order.
You said he claimed to be the new Druid King. What happens now?
I'm not sure. Other than Orlaith, no one else has ever attempted to claim the title. At least not to my knowledge. Is it enough to just possess the regalia? Is that why he needs Free? To legitimize his claim? I'm not sure. Still, this is bad.
Bad in what way, Laurel?
In every way. Everything I know tells me the Druid King can command nature. Wield it like a tool or a weapon. If the title is taken by force, the prophecy tells us it begins an age of destruction. The Green Scourge.
Tell me more about the Green Scourge.
It's from the dream of Cassarain, the prophecy of the Druid King. One choice, one will, one binding word shall bless or scourge all lands. Since those lines were carved into the telling stone, they've become the basis for our two possible futures.
And those two possible futures are?
The blessing of the Green Reward, or the curse of the Green Scourge. One ushers in an age of harmony with nature. The other predicts a world under siege by an angry and vengeful wilderness. Two possibilities. One Druid King.
And what determines which of the two futures comes about?
The Druids have argued about that for generations. From what you found at Ivyheim, it's clear Cassarain believed the reward would come when the circles reunited and selected a new king, while a usurper would summon the Scourge. A tyrant like Bacaro.
Alright,
we
so
lost
we need to
Bacaro
head to
in Ifray's path.
On the move.
Lady Arabelle is still out there.
Yahoo! I definitely jumped too far that time.
Over there. That's one of Lady Arabelle's companions.
Oh, it's Zaji, okay.
Five Claw! Oh, thank the moons! The others followed Lord Bacaro. Go and help them. Lady Arabelle is very brave. Barely recovered from nearly dying, and already chasing villains into a desolate and scary valley. Hurry, Five Claw. You must go help her.
Why are you out here alone, Zaji?
Zaji decided to wait out here for you, Five Claw. Yes, Zaji waited to direct you. It is easy to get lost in such places, yes?
Zaji's such a
Lady
coward.
Arabelle followed the Ascendant Lord. Should Zaji call him that now?
Druid Laurel and I will find them, Zaji.
Oh, thank you, Five Claw. Zaji will go back to the Druid village and wait for you there. Look for Casca. She is a great tracker. If she hasn't found Bacaro yet, she will shortly.
They went this way.
There's Casca.
Look, that's the giant cat that accompanied
Good
Lady
to
Arabelle.
smell you, Five Claw. Rivanna thinks Bacaro came here for a purpose. He's not far ahead. Rivanna told me to wait here. She wanted to make sure that Druid Laurel or whoever came after us knew where to go. She doesn't know what the Ascendant Lord is up to exactly, but she's sure he came to this place for a reason.
So where are Lady Arabelle and Druid Rivanna?
They headed west and followed Bacaro into Ifray's path. Bacaro left some knights behind to slow us down, but I took care of them. Did you happen to see Zaji on your way here?
Yes, he decided to head back to Glimmertorn.
Now that you're here, I'll head back too. I could be more helpful at the Druid village than in a cramped cavern. You might not believe this, but sometimes my size can be a hindrance. Just make sure to bite Bacaro a few times for me.
I don't do the biting,
on the
Casca.
western wall of the hollow.
I'll have someone
That's
else
got
do
to
it.
be where everyone headed.
Or better yet, the demonic chicken can peck him to death. The demonic chicken's like, you're on your own, bitch.
There's a druid ahead.
Over here, my friends. Lady Arabelle followed them through that door.
Walk, walk, walk!
Lady Arabelle said you'd find us. Told me to wait here and point the way. She followed Bacaro, the Ascendant Lord, through that door over there. Go help her. I'm still not sure she's fully recovered from the effects of the poison.
Zaji and Casca said you might know why Bacaro has come to this location.
Just speculation, really. Ifray's path is a sacred place, and such locations contain power if you know how to draw upon it. Bacaro is going to need all the power he can get if he wants to press his claim as the Druid King.
What do you mean?
The Stonelore Circle, at least, will never accept his claim. Not unless forced to. Not to mention the 3 alliances. Bakaro is going to need more than the regalia and his small army of knights to accomplish his ultimate goal. To rule all of Tamriel.
How is Lady Arabelle doing, Ravana?
She's definitely on the mend, but she should be resting. Running after the so-called Ascendant Lord can be hazardous to her condition in a number of ways. Go after her, my friend. Keep her safe and deal with Bakaro before things get worse.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
All these plants were recently torn away. This door must have been hidden for ages.
This section of Y'ffre's path has been sealed away for centuries. Few druids alive today have even a slight inkling as to what this era was used for.
That's Lady Arabelle. What's she doing?
Careful,
She's
dear.
standing on a
And
pressure
watch
plate.
where you step. Now, don't be alarmed, dear, but I happen to have stepped where I shouldn't have. I suppose I owe Druid Ravana an apology. The lingering effects of the poison do seem to have made me somewhat discombobulated.
What did you step on, Lady Arabelle?
A pressure plate, I think. Some sort of trap put here who knows when, and by who knows who. That can wait, though. I followed Lord Bakaro in here. He met with a group of druids. Firesong, I think. He promised them vengeance against the Stone Lord.
What about Free? Were they with him?
The nature spirit? Yes, they were here. I couldn't quite tell if they were a prisoner or not. Bakaro did say he needed them to talk to Y'ffre's path, whatever that means. You need to go after them, my dear.
What about you? We need to get you off that pressure plate.
Oh, I agree. But that's not going to be done quickly. And as long as I remain in place, we are all perfectly safe. You go on ahead. Druid Laurel can stay here and help me disarm this insidious contraption.
Alright, I'll go after Lord Bakaro and Free.
Don't move, Lady Arabelle. Let me see what I can do.
Not a muscle, dear lady. Go, my friend. Find Bakaro and Free.
Man, I think I would end up losing my balance and fall over. Just because I'm not klutz. Man, the druids really didn't want anyone down here.
Wrong. Dad, do not do this. Fought well.
Now he's talking to us. I think he knows we know the truth.
We shall start by punishing the Stone Law. Servant of Y'ffre, come forth.
Oh joy, I'm fighting one of Y'ffre's creatures.
Obey your king. Destroy the Stone Law Circle and their allies.
Give it all you've got.
The reign of the Druid King begins here.
Come back here, Bakaro.
Kill
Coward.
the intruders.
Interesting. An old druidic summoning chamber. I want to examine these carvings.
Damn my clumsiness. If not for the fact that we were delayed by that trap, we could have been here to help you with that creature. Then maybe Lord Bakaro wouldn't have been able to slip away.
Bakaro summoned that spirit to destroy the Stone Lord druids and to deal with us.
I assume this was at least in part a test of sorts, to see if he could actually call forth a spirit and command it. Plus, he wanted to prove to his followers that he is worthy of the Druid King's regalia.
Question, if your employer summons a spirit to destroy you, does that mean you're fired? Joe, what do you think?
Oh, probably.
Where do you think Lord Bakaro went?
Somewhere he can further strengthen and consolidate his power, especially since he knows we're onto him. Druid Laurel is examining the stone carvings. Perhaps they can tell us something. Take a look and talk to her, dear.
These carvings tell an interesting story. Take a look, my friend. Examine the carvings, and I'll tell you what I think they mean. This carving shows the Druid King binding a spirit into Mount Firesong.
Yep, that's definitely obvious. This one's the crown, the gauntlet, and the regalia.
This carving depicts the spirit slumbering within the volcano. See the Druid King's regalia?
I'm on the wrong side.
This carving indicates a possible future. See how the spirit awakens and the volcano erupts? It's a warning. Ancient druids called upon the spirits of the green at their own peril. Only the Druid King was ever able to do so safely. It's why we abandoned the practice long ago. This is where they did it. At least where some of them did it.
What do you think the stone carvings are meant to tell us?
Like so much of the ancient knowledge that remains, these carvings are open to interpretation. Obviously, we can see the spirits of the green, forces of nature in the bosom of Ifray. Then we see a spirit slumbering beneath Mount Firesong.
The way Free slumbered before the fire song awakened them.
Very much so. And the spirit must be extremely powerful due to how sacred Mount Firesong is. I think that's what the final carving tells us. Let the sleeping spirit lie. For generations, that's been one of the Firesong's primary purposes.
What do you think this all means?
I think Bacaro plans to call forth the spirit of Mount Firesong with the Druid King's regalia. With a spirit of that magnitude, the armies of Tamriel won't stand a chance. Go to Vastir, and tell Stefan to prepare his ships. We must go to Ifalon.
To Ifalon?
If we're going to stop Bacaro, we're going to need help. Go to Castle Mornard and rally Count Stefan's knights. I'll make sure the rest of us are ready.
I hope you'll reconsider. This threat endangers us all.
The Gilded Blades aren't mercenaries to call on to clean up your mess, Count Stefan.
My knights are ready, but Captain Siravain isn't convinced she wants to join us in this particular fight. But never mind that. Is Druid Laurel all right? Is the Sacred Staff safe?
Laurel is fine, but Lord Bacaro has all three regalia and free. We think they're headed to Yifalon.
Damn it all to oblivion. At least Laurel is all right. I've assembled what knights I can spare, but we could really use Siravain and the Gilded Blades. Maybe you can convince her to help.
I'll talk to Captain Siravain.
I'd appreciate it. I've been banging my head against that particular wall for hours now. Remind her that if Lord Bacaro takes control of the archipelago, any safe ports she has on Galen will evaporate like a drop of water in a hot skillet.
That's really fast, actually.
I can never get enough of the food you landbound eat. It's so delicious. The Lordling sent you over to convince me to help, didn't he? My answer is the same. Why should I care about your political drama?
Lord Bacaro has declared himself the new Druid King.
And that concerns me how, exactly? If Druids want a king or not, that's their business, not mine. Sea Lord Nalos was my problem, and I took care of it. What happens on Galen next doesn't matter to me.
We helped you defeat Sea Lord Nalos and get your crew and ship back.
Just because our purposes aligned once doesn't mean we'll sail side by side forever, mercenary. We both wanted Nalos dead, and now he is. That was a win for both of us. I'd need a more compelling reason to risk my crew again.
How about this? If Lord Bacaro and his allies take control, no port on the islands will be safe for you.
That is certainly something I hadn't considered. I do like the safe haven that the Lordling has provided us with. And what was that about allies? Bacaro is working with the Fire Song? All right. You convinced me. My ship is yours, for now.
So that's what
I knew you'd
convinced
come
her.
around, Siravain. Let's meet at the Vastir docks.
Surprised she didn't come around sooner when she found out the Fire Song was working with Bacaro, because she hates the Fire Song. Because the Fire Song was working with Nelos, and anything connected to Nelos is absolute garbage to her. I can't blame her though. Nelos killed her brother, so.
I thought our troubles were over after all the death and destruction, but something worse is coming, Feda.
I feel it too. Like a dark storm on the horizon.
I'm worried, Feda. I don't think Galen's troubles are over.
Wait, what am I doing? Why am I going to the Way Shrine? I need to go down to the docks. Well, that ship is moving really fast, actually. Right, ship to Yphalon. Hey ho ho ho.
Come, dear. We have plans to make.
What would you ask of me?
You're not who I was trying to talk to, Isabel.
Laurel, Ravana, and I talked during the voyage. If Lord Bacaro truly means to awaken the spirit of the volcano, he's going to need to do it from inside Mount Firesong. And since he knows we're coming, he'll throw everything he has in our way.
So what do you propose, Lady Arabelle?
Sleight of hand, my dear. Count Stefan and Captain Siravain landed farther up the beach. While our allies draw attention at the main entrance, you and I will follow in their wake and find another way into the mountain.
Do you know if another entrance... do you know of another entrance we can use?
Laurel wasn't sure, but she thinks she remembers a cave to the right of the main entrance. Let's search around. If nothing else presents itself, we'll see where that cave leads.
That's me walking up to the Fire Song like, how many times must we teach you this lesson,
The
old
Ascendant
man?
Order's forces pulled back to the main entrance into the mountain. Siravain and her pirates went after them.
Seriously though, how many times must we teach you this lesson, Fire Song?
Any battle we can walk away from, eh?
back, fiends.
These Ascendant Order barnacles are cowards. They flee at the first sign of a worthy opponent.
Can't expect every person that joins a cult to be completely loyal to the cult. That's just ridiculous. Some people are just there to get paid, and they're like, I don't get paid enough to die for yours.
The spot Laurel mentioned should... The cave Laurel suggested. It must be behind those vines.
Actually, I can't remember what it was, but I read a book once, Joe, where this cult would look for people whose families were in financial trouble, and then they would pay for life insurance for them, like the fantasy equivalent of life insurance. And so if they died doing the cult's bidding, their family would get a massive payout, and it would take care of their family's
This
troubles.
tunnel cuts deep into the mountain. Hopefully it will lead us to Lord
One way to
Bacaro.
buy loyalty. To know even if you fall, your family will be taken care of.
Druids. Proceed with caution, dear.
The Druid King calls forth the spirit of the volcano. Soon, our enemies will perish in lava
Oh,
and flame.
that's not
Bacaro
good.
has started. We have to hurry.
Actually, I had a weird idea for a game, or like maybe not even necessarily a game, but a story. It's a fantasy world, and these people are part of a
the volcano is becoming more active.
like
the lava
a
is
journalist,
rising.
like they go around and like, okay, you know, proper techniques for fighting skeletons and things like that. Like, you know, they actually do things and they write articles about it to help adventurers.
You don't want to do this!
Ow.
It's basically what you guys are doing.
Huh?
You guys have been filling out bestiary, remember?
Look over
That's
there.
true.
That's Druid Laurel's nature spirit. We have to help him.
Don't stop, my brothers and sisters. The spirit of the volcano stirs.
Free.
Wind vortex. Must summon. Keep them back while I sing.
The lava is right. Bacaro has started. We have to hurry.
Hurry, Free, the lava's coming and we can't swim in lava. At least not for very long.
Send Darcy you safely to your rest.
No, friends!
Bacaro
Step
is
into the
started.
wind vortex.
We have to hurry.
Bacaro wields the regalia. He commands the spirit to awaken, and now the volcano awakens too.
I can't believe we're in an erupting volcano. This has to be the dumbest thing I've ever done in ESO. And that's not a short list.
Oh fuck, that's a big boy. Ow!
When you mean big boy, like, what are we talking here?
Four-legged insectoid with super lasers, big tail, about 3 times our height, 4 frontal claws.
Sounds like the robotic scorpion from Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, I could probably replace it. It's known as the Death Claw.
The Death Claw, oh god. When I think of Death Claws, I think of the things from Fallout. Oh no! Oh Joe, I don't know if you got the stream up, but you gotta look at this boy.
How? Oh, what?
Spirit of the volcano, send your avatars
Oh.
to destroy.
Yeah,
Oh,
he just released that, so that's now like exist in Tamriel, and I'm fighting its avatar. Oh god.
Stop them, spirit. Do what you were summoned to do.
Yeah, this is the boss that became randomly immortal the other day when I was fighting it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. Because I had to start the entire quest over again when it happened the last time. And while I can skip through all the dialogue this time since we've already done it, I would prefer to not have that happen if possible. We got him. Alright, Bacaro, it's over.
My friend, we both want the same thing. An end to this stupid war, and something better than the Ruby Throne.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that, but there has to be a better way. Wait, what are you doing, Bacaro?
Spirit of Mount Fire Song, lend me your strength. Give me the power to destroy my enemies.
Bacaro, did you just fuse with the spirit of Mount Firesong?
I am Lord Bacaro, the Ascendant Lord, the Druid King. Soon, the alliances will be nothing but cinders and ash.
Oh, that's not great. Free! The lava's coming. Free, where are you? You're supposed to stop. There it is. There's the wind vortex. Thank goodness. Gotta go quickly or I'll get killed. No time to stand and fight, guys. Sorry. The lava's coming. Yep, no, it's coming real fast. Free, we could really use another wind vortex. There it is. Okay. It should take a while for the lava to get this high.
Any battle we can walk away from, eh?
Alright, that's where the final battle takes place, so just have to kill this last enemy as we go in. Alright, the Ascendant Lord is ready. Let's do this, Lord Bacaro.
No more alliances. No more Ruby Throne. The era of the Ivy Throne begins now!
This isn't the right way to do this, Lord Bacaro.
That was it, right? Sometimes it's hard to tell.
my blade. I had no idea we'd get to do things like this.
This is not a time to freak out on me, Isabel. Actually, this might be the perfect time to freak out. Where is the wind vortex? Free, where's the wind vortex? Free, where's the wind vortex? Oh, please don't tell me the quest is broken again. I'm gonna be really upset if I have to redo this whole thing again. Let me try resetting the fight. Nope, there we go.
Stendar see you safely to your rest.
I'm not sure why that happened, but... I wonder if they realized that they bugged Free out.
Fire of the mountain!
Move your feet. Get moving.
See, what's supposed to happen, there's supposed to be these little wind vortexes that launches me to a safe spot so I can avoid the lava falling on me. But that, for some reason, that's not happening. Yeah, they definitely didn't fix the bugs that they said they fixed in the last patch.
Stendar save you. You're wounded.
Yeah, no kidding.
I am the Inferno!
Got him.
I am the
Oh, now Free shows
You
up.
are not worthy of the regalia, false king.
The spirit of Mount Firesong fled when the false king died. The volcano has no spirit to calm it now.
Free, I'm kind of upset with you right now. I had to take a lava bath 3 times because of you.
The false king is gone,
Twice,
but so is
actually.
the spirit of the mountain. Without a spirit to calm it, Mount Firesong's rage will continue unchecked.
Isn't there any way to stop it?
Perhaps, if the balance is restored, a new spirit must fill the void in Mount Firesong's heart. I will be that spirit.
What does that mean, Free?
It means I will calm the volcano before it destroys the archipelago. Attempt to contain most of the damage to Ipholon. But I will need your help, friend of Laurel. Friend of Free.
What do you need me to do?
Place the regalia to form a circle around me. Then command me to bind myself to the mountain. You are not the Druid King, but with the regalia and my willingness, the binding should hold. Then I will do what I can to quiet the volcano.
What happens to you after that, Free?
I will remain, but I will be different. As the seed becomes a tree, I shall become the spirit of the mountain, and I will slumber, as will Mount Firesong. Now take the crown and the gauntlet and place them around me.
I'll do as you ask, Free.
Quickly, friend. Place the gauntlet and crown to form a ritual circle.
Sacred crown, we call upon your power. Sacred staff, we also call upon your power. Sacred gauntlet,
Now free is the spirit of Mount Firesong. Now the volcano will be still. Goodbye, friend. And thank you.
Free, I command you to bind yourselves to the volcano. And despite the glitches in the game, we managed to win, and we're safely transported, hopefully back onto Siravain's ship. Yes, thank goodness. Wait, this isn't Siravain's ship. Whose ship is this? Is this the Perfect Pounce?
Ah! Where did you come from, Five Claw? You made Zaji's heart skip a bit, yes?
The volcano erupted, but except for the top of the mountain, Ifalon is intact. I very much want to hear what happened, dear. I got everyone back to the ship before the volcano fully erupted, but even so, I'm surprised we're all still alive. Care to enlighten us about what happened inside Mount Firesong, dear?
I defeated Lord Bacaro, but Free took the place of the mountain spirit. They contained the eruption.
Free was able to contain all that power. They saved the archipelago, the Alliance leaders, all of us. But where's Free now? Why didn't they return with you? You said they took the place of the spirit. What does that mean?
I'm not sure, but I don't think Free's coming back. They're part of Mount Firesong now.
Oh, poor Free. Their sacrifice saved us all. I'll remember them fondly for that. And you're sure Lord Bacaro is defeated? Without their leader, his ascendant orders should fade away. But what happened to the Druid King's regalia, dear?
Free used the regalia to bind themselves to the mountain. I think it was destroyed by the volcano.
It's just as well. As long as the Druids remain divided, they aren't ready for a new king. And I'm not sure how Emmerich and the others would react to another royal in their midst. Well, talk to our friends, dear. Then we should return to Bastia.
Very well. Alright, let's talk to Captain Siravain.
That's a whale of a story, mercenary. But I think I prefer having you with me than against me. So, at least for now, you have the respect of the Gilded Blades and their captain.
What happened to the Gilded Blades in your ship? Why are you on the Perfect Pounce?
The Gilded Blades handled themselves well, as always. And when Lady Arabelle sounded the warning, we headed to the nearest ship and set sail. For me, that happened to be this one. And your spirit friend decided to stay behind? Is that true?
Yes, Free chose to stay behind and contain the volcano.
That's intense. Can't say I'd have done the same, but I can respect someone willing to give up their life to save others. It isn't particularly the Sea Elf way, but still. I think I'll drink to Free whenever I sail past the mountain.
Oh, it's interesting. Our character now owes a favor to Sea Elves. It's going to be interesting for future DLCs.
I'm glad you were with Free inside the mountain, my friend. I'll never forget what they did to save us all.
Is Free gone for good, Laurel?
Free isn't gone, friend. They've just become something more. As a tree grows from seed to sapling to massive oak, so too has Free transformed. They're still with us, asleep in Mount Firesong, keeping us safe from the power of the volcano.
But will we ever see Free again?
Whenever you want to see Free, just look toward Mount Firesong. They're a part of it now. The spirit of the mountain. I need to tell the Druids what happened here. Let them learn the last lesson the Sower had to teach us. Sacrifice.
I'm sorry we couldn't figure another way to get out of this. Free shouldn't have had to sacrifice themselves to save the rest of us. I'm just glad you stopped Bacaro. Now maybe we can finally start to rebuild Galen.
It was Free's choice. They made the decision and asked me to help them see it through.
All this death and destruction because Bacaro wanted to dig up some ancient Breton legacy. If I learned anything from my time with the Druids, it's that they don't need a king or a prophecy to make the world a better place. They just need to do it.
So you don't believe in the legacy of the Bretons?
Don't be silly, of course I do. But that legacy isn't crowns and gauntlets. It's people, born of humans and elves to become something altogether new. It's magic, druids, and knightly orders. That's the Breton legacy I believe in. It's the best of us.
This is my favorite dialogue in the entire DLC. It makes me so happy that I play Breton characters. It's I'll read it to you, Joe, since you
I've got my eye on it.
Okay. It just people born of human and elves become something altogether new. I love it.
I prefer one who's a bit more comedy, but fair enough.
Prefer more what?
One's more humorous.
But I suppose, but the when it comes, but this is like the entire reason the Bretons exist. It's like there are two worlds combined into one, and it's like the druids are human and they appear in nature, so they're two things in one. There's a lot of duality in Bretons. It's just like before this DLC, Bretons were kind of just like, oh, generic humans. Okay, yeah, they're kind of good with magic, and they have some interesting backstory that, elves and humans came together to make them. But they really didn't expand on that any, but now it's like, okay, Bretons are known to be druids. That's something I'm very interested to see, if people use in playthroughs of, Skyrim and other games, playing a druidic character. That could be a very interesting way to play Skyrim. I don't know how they would play a druid character. There's not a lot of nature magic in Skyrim, but... But hey, we're almost done. We have one quest to go, and then we're done with the Fire Song DLC, and it's pretty much just the wrap-up quest, so...
Over here, my dear. Count Stefan and I have something for you. You're really making a habit out of saving the archipelago, and of aiding me. Thanks to you, we revealed Lord Bacaro as a traitor, saved the islands from an erupting volcano, and ended the threat of the false Druid King. Well done, my dear.
What about the Ascendant Order, Lady Arabelle?
Don't worry about them. Without a leader, they'll quickly fade away. Now we just need to proceed with the peace talks. We're back on track and the archipelago is safe thanks to you. Now take this. Count Stefan and I wanted you to have it.
Okay.
We did well, dear, but the work isn't finished yet. I could use a hand if you're still so inclined.
What do you need me to do, Lady Arabelle?
While I return to High Isle and make final preparations for the peace talks to commence, I'd like you to help Druid Laurel with one more thing. When you're finished, meet me at Mandrake Manor.
What kind of help does Druid Laurel need?
I'll let her give you the details. I will say this, though. You've certainly made an impression on the Stone Lord Druid.
Oh shit. Run,
okay?
run. Yeah, BBEG just stripped me of my weapons.
Oh.
And there are a lot of demons.
I'll help Druid Laurel and then meet you at Mandrake Manor.
Druid Laurel will tell you what she needs. Just don't dawdle. Finish things here, then meet me on High Isle. We've had the Alliance leaders waiting quite long enough, and I have to make some arrangements with the Society of the Steadfast.
Society of the Steadfast? You really still want to work with Lord Bacaro's organization?
Despite Lord Bacaro's betrayal, the Society has done good work here in the Sisters and back in Tamriel. I'd hate to lose that, but you're quite correct. I need to determine if the Society is trustworthy.
How will you do that?
I'll start by meeting with Captain Marguerite. The Society attracted many good people who have done a lot of good work. I won't see that die with Bacaro. I want the organization to continue if at all possible.
The problem is you may have to cover up Bacaro's involvement as the Ascendant Lord to do that.
Galen and the entire archipelago owe you a debt, my friend. You have my thanks.
The Druids will never forget what you and Free did to save us. Lady Arabelle said she could spare you, and I appreciate the help. Before Free was taken by Lord Bacaro, they gave me something. Told me what to do with it if they didn't return. I thought Free was just being cautious. But I think they knew.
What do you think Free knew?
That they weren't coming back. Free gave me a pouch of soil. They said it was special. That they prepared it as part of their purpose. You remember how Free would go on and on about that. Anyway, they asked me to do something after they were gone.
What did Free ask you to do?
They asked me to go to the overlook north of Glimmertarn, to sprinkle the soil from the pouch there. I made a promise, and I'd like you to fulfill it with me. I think Free would want you to be a part of this. Will you help me, friend?
I'll meet you at the overlook north of Glimmertarn, Laurel.
Here, take the pouch of soil. There's a beautiful tree by the overlook, tall and majestic. I think that's the perfect place to honor Free's wishes. I'll meet you there.
Is there anything special about the soil in this pouch?
Free said they spent a long time preparing it. That it was a part of them, a part of Galen, a part of the Druids. I don't know if they meant that literally or figuratively. It wasn't always easy to understand Free and the ways of a nature spirit.
Anything else I should know about the tree?
Free enjoyed
They totaled my car.
I think they felt a connection to it, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, I'm sure it's insured.
The ways of nature spirits are very different from the
Well,
things
considering
we
how
know. They said to sprinkle the
it
soil.
was blown up by
and I
the
think that's
very
the perfect place
nation
to do
that's taken over the nation this car is from. No, I'm not so sure.
Well, that's sounds like a you problem, Joe. You should have gotten insurance from the other nation too.
They're trying to kill us. What am I supposed to do?
Take a moment and buy insurance from them. Clearly.
Was all this bloodshed really the result of a druidic prophecy, Galfin?
I'm afraid so, Feda. Sometimes religious conviction can drive even the best of us to do terrible things.
Well, at least the Ascendant Lord has been defeated. And we found each other, Galfin. That's the sunlight breaking through the clouds.
The Ascendant Lord is defeated. It's time to put on my suit. Isabel, we're gonna put you in a dress.
Ready to write?
Let's see. What dress did I set up for you? I can't remember. Was it this one? Nope, that's for Miri. Ah, it's the shimmering soiree gown. We'll set it for you. As is tradition, whenever we finish a new chapter's final quest, we have to, of course, put on our best wear because it's time for a celebration.
You know, I've read about this place. Amazing.
That's the tree. Free was quite fond of it. Go ahead and sprinkle the soil around its base.
Oh, it's glowing green.
I thought for sure something would happen, but this is wonderful. Friend, let me tell you what Free has done.
I'm guessing there are 3 new sacred seeds for new regalia.
Did you see what happened, friend? What Free asked us to do with that pouch of soil? It's a miracle.
You need to explain this to me, Laurel.
Of course. After everything you've done for us, I still forget sometimes that you're not a druid. Free had a special connection to the sacred seeds. They used their power as a nature spirit, as the sower, to put some of that magic into the soil.
So that means?
It means that the sacred seeds aren't gone. That the Druid King's regalia will return. Someday. Until that time, we'll need to protect this tree. Nurture it. I'll make sure that all the circles know. We'll find a way to do it together.
Do you think all the Druid circles can be trusted?
Trust has to start somewhere. But we still need to gather the elders and form a new Drafa. After that, I'll broach the subject. In the meantime, I'll commune with the tree, with the growing seeds. And I'll be here when they finally blossom.
Is there anything else I can help you with, Laurel?
I think that's everything, my friend. Thanks again for helping me honor Free's request. I hope they find peace and happiness inside the volcano. Anyway, I think you should head back to High Isle now. I know Lady Arabelle is eager to begin the talks.
Is there anything we can do for Free?
Free made their decision. Without their sacrifice, none of us would have survived the volcano's eruption. I'll find time to go to Mount Firesong, to commune with the new spirit of the volcano. Sometimes bound spirits respond. Sometimes they don't.
You don't think Free will talk to you?
Oh, Free will commune with me if they're able, but every spirit binding is different. Some can communicate freely, others can only share impressions. And then there are the ones that more or less slumber, as Free did before they were awakened.
Huh. So, I guess the answer is, who knows whether or not Free will be able to talk to you, so... Alright. Turning to Mandrake Manor one more time. For at least the foreseeable future. I wonder if Evely will freak out when she finds out that we met Lady Arabelle.
I assure you, Lady Arabelle,
is either
I'm
the
more
writer
committed
of
than ever to the Society
Investigator
of the
Vell, or the
Steadfast's
person
mission
that
of
Investigator
peace.
Vell is
I'm
based
glad
on.
to hear you say that, Captain. Ah, good, you're back.
Wait, she gets around that much?
Who? Lady Arabelle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Inspector Vell gets around a lot.
And Lady Arabelle gets around a lot too.
Cool.
Captain Marguerite and I were just having the most illuminating discussion, dear. Other than some misdirection at the end, Lord Bacaro never allowed his clandestine activities with the Ascendant Order to spill over into the Society of the Steadfast.
Are you confident of that, Lady Arabelle?
Yes, dear, I am. Captain Marguerite's reputation is impeccable, and I've begun to study their ledgers. Nothing is amiss. I'll get someone I trust to perform a thorough investigation, but the Society has done too much good to shut it down now.
Are we ready to start the peace talks?
Just about. Preparations are underway at Old Flags Islet, but I have a task for you. I'd like you to invite Count Stefan, Druid Laurel, and Druid Ravana for the talks. They deserve to have a voice in the proceedings. Captain Zaji and Casca, too.
You want Zaji and Casca to participate in peace talks?
I think Zaji and Casca should get to see the negotiations unfold, but to have them participate, oh goodness no, dear.
That would be like
So,
asking
invite
Rigger
Stefan,
to
Laurel,
participate.
and the rest. And remind Stefan I'm depending on House Mornard for added security.
You know, I was really worried when they said this was going to be about peace talks that we were going to have Riggert as the Pact representative at the peace talks. Can you imagine the chaos?
I'd rather not.
Where can I find all these people?
Count Stefan will be at Castle Mornard, and Druid Laurel should be in the Vines District in Bastir. Zaji's likely at the docks here in Gonfalon Bay, and Druid Ravana is at her workshop here on High Isle, just west of the city.
Tell me more about the peace talks.
We've been trying to get the leaders of all three alliances to the table since this whole affair began. It's been sponsored by the Society of the Steadfast. There are no guarantees, but this is our best chance to end the Three Banners War.
You know, Tharn was trying to end the Three Banners War too, but he did it by trying to acquire a bigger weapon than any of the others had to make them stand down. That's just the difference between Tharn and Lady Arabelle. What happens when the leaders learn about Lord Bacaro's betrayal?
I won't keep that a secret from High King Emmerich and the others, but I will urge them to see the talks through, despite their less than honorable beginnings. This is a real chance for lasting peace, and I damn well plan to make that happen.
Alright. I honestly hope it happens. Like, I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked about it here in the stream or not, but my hope is that the Three Banners War is going to end, and then the three alliances come together and send you into Cyrodiil during a chapter DLC, and you have to take back Cyrodiil. And then in the end of year DLC, you then have to go to the Imperial City and topple the false Empress, or the Empress Regent. I can't remember her first name, but she's a Tharn, so you have to topple Tharn's daughter off her throne. That would be my ideal way to end the Three Banners War. Honestly, they don't need the Three Banners War. Like, and the thing is that the Three Banners War didn't carry on for the rest of the Second Era. It actually ended pretty quickly after it started, and then a different war started about the time that Talos appeared and ended up on the throne. It would be nice. Maybe like there could be like a council of three alliances at first, like where they're like deciding what to do together, and then of course when the alliances fall apart, because the first Aldmeri Dominion, the first Daggerfall Covenant, and the Ebonheart Pact all eventually fall apart. Actually, the Daggerfall Covenant is already on the verge of falling apart because we killed King Kurog, and the Orcs no longer really have a reason to be in a pact with the other two alliances, or with the Red Guards and the Bretons. So the Daggerfall Covenant is set to fall apart at any time now. And of course, the Ebonheart Pact is really easy to fall apart, because all they need is for somebody to do like Sheogorath and shout, "Hey, you hate each other, remember?"
Light it all. We have to find a way for the circles
to
work together.
It's like,
the Elder Tide are willing, but we have yet to choose new leaders, and we still distrust the Fire Song.
The Fire Song are aware of our mistakes. We don't expect forgiveness, but we want a chance to make amends. I promise our next leader will have less aggressive aspirations.
They better.
Blight and damnation. Trying to get the druid circles to agree on anything is like trying to herd fawns. But you're not here to deal with my problems. Not this time. What can I do for you, my friend?
Lady Arabelle wants you to represent the druids of Galen at the peace talks.
Really? After you just saw my negotiating skills in action? Wait, you're serious? Well, why not? I definitely want what's best for my people. And maybe I can learn something watching the Alliance leaders. I'll be happy to attend.
Good, we'll see you at All Flags Islet on High Isle.
And just between us, the talks with the druid circles aren't going too badly. I just lose patience sometimes. I want everything to happen right now. But flowers blossom when they're ready, am I right?
How are you and Count Stefan getting along, Laurel?
What? Did Stefan say something? What are you asking? Count Stefan and I are getting along fine. Never better. And I'd rather not talk about this at the moment, if that's all the same to you.
Look, would you just get together already? I've already got too much going on trying to get Sai Sahan and Lyris together. That's a lost cause. But at least they finally acknowledged their feelings for each other, like actually verbalized them. Now, if we could just get them to actually tie the knot. I swear to God, though, if they get married off screen and don't invite me to their wedding, there will be consequences. The kind of consequences where my character goes and knocks on the door, when Sai answers it, she's like, "You should have invited me to your wedding, Sai." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, Sai, don't touch me there." And you just hear the sound of pounding feet coming through the door. He's like, "No, Lily, wait, no!"
Captain Marguerite was as good as her word. Get those supplies distributed at once.
Right away, Captain.
Friend, welcome
You're
back to
heartless,
Castle
you know that?
Look, I feel like I deserve to be invited to the wedding.
Lady Arabelle told me to trust Captain Marguerite, and so far so good. The Society of the Steadfast restarted their relief efforts, and things have been moving smoothly ever since. But what brings you back to Galen, friend?
Lady Arabelle would like you to represent Galen at the peace talks.
Does she now? And what role would a minor count play in discussions concerning the greater fate of all of Tamriel? No, forgive me, friend. It's just been a lot lately. Of course I'll attend. Is there anything Lady Arabelle needs of me?
She also requests that you bring a contingent of housemen or knights.
Ah, yes. After all this trouble, such a request isn't all that surprising. Very well. Tell Lady Arabelle Count Stefan shall attend the peace talks with a contingent of his finest knights at his side. Will that do?
Perfectly. We'll see you at All Flags Islet, Count Stefan.
How my father ever accomplished anything with the constant parade of supplicants and requests, I'll never understand. Or Archdruid Revolve, for that matter. Now I know what it's like when everyone is constantly vying for a moment of your attention.
Is it really that bad being the Count, Stefan?
No, it's not all that bad. Stressful, yes, but rewarding in its own way. You know, I really do like making decisions that help people. And I've even gotten the nobles and druids to sit down together. Once. Maybe my plans will work out after all.
Here's hoping, Count Stefan.
Was all this bloodshed really the result of a druidic prophecy, Galfin?
I'm afraid so, Feda. Sometimes religious conviction can drive even the best of us to do terrible things.
Well, at least the Ascendant Lord has been defeated. And we found each other, Galfin. That's the sunlight breaking through the clouds.
Alright, so we got 2 more allies to recruit, and we got... We're probably gonna end up going a little bit over today, but that's just like we're almost done. There's no reason not to finish up. So like there's absolutely no reason to save it for next week, because if we did, it would just be like a 30-minute stream. So maybe even less than 30 minutes. I think we can finish, but by just a little after the 3-hour mark, most likely. So, I don't think there's 30 minutes of dialogue left. And I've really enjoyed this elk mount we got this year. I've been riding it all year long, so can't wait to see what mount we get next year for next year's chapter.
Friend, what a pleasant surprise.
Hey, do you want to get out of here for a little bit?
What brings you back here so soon, friend? Not another danger to the archipelago, I hope.
Lady Arabelle wants you to represent the Stone Lord Druids of High Isle at the peace talks.
I'm neither an elder nor an archdruid. Shouldn't Lady Arabelle invite one of them? Most of the surviving senior members of the Circle are deep in discussions about the Dreyfa. Very well. Tell her I'll attend the talks.
Good, I'll see you on All Flags Islet.
I'm pleased that Lady Arabelle thought to include the Druids of the archipelago in the peace talks. As you have seen, events on the mainland reach even to our distant shores. Still, I wish we had archdruids or elders available for the task.
Are you interested in becoming an elder or an archdruid, Rihanna?
Perhaps one day, but I'm much too young to be called an elder. Don't you agree? As for archdruid, one doesn't just receive that accolade. Only druids of immense presence and power ever achieve such a rank. Will I someday? We shall see.
Well, I certainly hope so. Talk to Zaji, and then we need to get Zaji back to the Dragon Guard, because I'm wondering how the Dragon Guard is faring without their one ship, because they only have the one method of getting back and forth from the island to the mainland, and there's still dragons flying around elsewhere, so they kind of need their ship, and Zaji sailed off with it to help Queen Irene. I just imagine Sai just like, he just got back to the island and finds all the Dragon Guards sitting there like twiddling their thumbs. He's like, why is no one killing dragons? Lyris just like steps off the boat with him, and they're like, well, we kind of not had a way to get to the shore to fight them. And he's like, what? Why? Zaji and Casca sailed off to go help Queen Irene, and he's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Always a pleasure, Five Claw, but you also tend to bring trouble to Zaji. And more work. So what is it this time? A Periite cult? Vampire armies from deep underground? What?
A Periite cult, vampire armies from deep underground. Look, okay. Lady Arabelle would like you and Casca to attend the peace talks as observers and guards.
Zaji and Casca are invited? Well, as expected, of course. After all Zaji has done, it is only natural to want him there to observe, and to keep the Queen and the others safe. But Casca too, really? Well, very well, if Lady Arabelle insists.
I would be careful, Zaji, because you are small and Casca is big. We'll see you at All Flags Islet, Zaji.
Zaji and Casca will leave for the islet at once, and will bring along a few of the Pounce's crew. A little extra muscle never hurts, yes?
Do you think the peace talks have any chance of success, Zaji?
There is always a chance, Five Claw. It may be very, very small. So small that you cannot see it with the naked eye, but it is there nonetheless. This one does hope it works out, though. War is a terrible business indeed.
I'm thinking that the next time we go to Elsewhere, because there's still a section of Elsewhere that we haven't visited yet, I think next time we go to Elsewhere, we'll have Casca as a more main character.
Invited to the peace talks? I suppose that means we're important now.
The reason for that is if you look at her necklace that she has around her neck, she has half of a medallion around her neck, which is in every image with Casca in it. It's a very ominous looking thing, and it hasn't had any purpose or mention. So I'm wondering if she's some kind of royal from Middle Elsewhere. Isn't Queen Irene going to wait until the peace talks conclude before you set sail?
Yes, but according to Zaji, the Queen's in a terrible mood. He thinks she'll raise anchor and leave the proceedings the first time something stupid comes out of Emmerich or Ernskar's mouth. Hence, our sudden burst of activity.
Yeah, because it's very likely that they're going to say something stupid, because, look, first of all, they're humans. Secondly, Isakar's a Nord. Thirdly, they're men.
I see everyone has arrived. Well done, dear. And I did my part as well. The Alliance leaders are already downstairs.
Did you have any trouble getting the leaders here?
Oh, just the usual hemming and hawing. I just applied my natural charisma and threatened them with bodily harm. The leaders do want a word with you, though, if you're willing to indulge them.
Of course, I'd be happy to talk to the Alliance leaders. Go downstairs, have a chat with our Alliance leader friends. First, Isakar, because technically speaking, we are his vassal.
There you are. And the hero of the day, again. I knew we weren't done with the Ascendant Order after the assault on All Flags Islet. But I never imagined it was Lord Bacaro who betrayed us.
Are you heading back to Windhelm now?
That's what my father would expect. But I don't feel that I'm quite done here yet. Nothing in my instructions covers what's happened so far. And Lord Bacaro's treachery calls into question the very sanctity of these peace talks.
So the peace talks are a failure?
I wouldn't say that. I came here to do a job, and I think it can still be done. I plan to send word to the Skull King. Tell him I'm staying. At least as long as Emmerich and Irene agree. Lord Bacaro may have deceived us, but peace is still possible.
Will Jordan the Skull King agree with that decision?
He won't be happy about the way Lord Bacaro manipulated him. But when I explain what happened here, and what you did, friend, he'll support my decision. He really is an excellent king, my father. But don't tell him I said that.
You've grown up a lot since we met you in East March.
I like to think I'm not easily fooled. But not in 1,000 years would I have guessed that Lord Bacaro was the secret leader of the Ascendant Order. No one argued more eloquently for a lasting peace than he did.
Will the peace talks still take place?
The revelation that these talks were merely part of the Ascendant Lord's plan to seize power makes it difficult. But as far as we can tell, the Society of the Steadfast Intentions are pure. And I think Lord Bacaro might have outsmarted himself.
Outsmarted himself? How?
Bacaro wanted to prove his worth. Show us that by blood and circumstance, he was the best suited to take power. Instead, through his actions as the Ascendant Lord, Emmerich, Ansgar, and I learned that we could actually work together.
So you think peace is still possible?
I think so, yes. I've come to believe that Emmerich and Ansgar want peace as badly as I do, and I'm willing to see where these discussions lead. We may not come to any conclusions, but isn't the possibility worth the effort? I think it is.
Okay.
You know, Queen Irene seems like the kind of person I'd like to get an ale with.
Lord Bacaro a villain. Rogue knights collaborating with druids. And what was that about sea elves? This visit to the archipelago has been one surprise after another. I owe you a lot, friend. You saved my life, and you saved my realm.
Saved your realm?
I've ignored the druids of the archipelago for too long. The few I've met over the years seem, well, quaint, eccentric. I thought their insistence on clinging to the ancient ways was harmless. But I forgot about the dark roots of their tradition.
Dark roots?
The weirds of High Rock distanced themselves from politics, but the druids of old were a different breed. They used fearsome magic to rule over the early Bretons, either directly or from behind the scenes, and they jealously guarded their power.
Do you plan to go forward with the peace talks?
Why in oblivion not? I've been here this long. What's another few days? If the Breton legacy has a dark side, it also shows courage and commitment. If Irene and Ernskar are willing to talk, so am I. But I wonder if Lord Bacaro had the right idea.
You think Lord Bacaro was right?
Oh, not about the whole Ascendant Lord and murder thing, but about finding someone other than one of us to sit on the throne. I can't imagine Irene or Yoren agreeing to bow down to me willingly, and I feel the same way. We'll just have to see.
Absolutely not. Don't even...
So
hey!
easily.
We just unlocked Isabel's companion quest.
He's actually a very talented author.
Oh, well that's an interesting little thing. Yeah, that's
My friend, I am not in the habit of asking for favors, but, well,
I just got some news from Aurelia. You remember her, my childhood friend we helped during the tourney?
How is Aurelia?
She's gone traveling. After that business with her mother and the tourney, I encouraged her to find her own way, which is grand. Unfortunately, some of her things were stolen, including a signet ring I gave her many years ago.
Is the ring still important to you?
It's a signet ring representing my family's business, Felwall Mercantile. Someone wearing that ring could pretend they were working for my parents. That would be bad. Aurelia is on Stros Mackay. If you don't mind, could we go speak with her?
We'll head to Stros Mackay then.
Thank you so much. Hopefully Aurelia will exercise a little wisdom and stay put. According to her letter, we should find her at the Screaming Mermaid Inn on Stros Mackay.
Can we talk about what's going on?
Of course. It's been a pleasure to travel with you since that day at the tourney, but we haven't had much of a chance to chat about my past. What would you like to know?
What do you think? Why do you think Aurelia went to Stros Mackay?
I'm not sure. She didn't say. If I had to guess, she met a pretty face and decided to follow him to the island. Half of Aurelia's stories sound like the beginning to a romance novel.
You're a fan of romance novels?
I would
never. Yes.
Yes, of course I'm a fan of romance novels. What woman in the Knightly Order is not? Have you read Desires of the Sword? But wait, that's not important right now.
I'm gonna have to look that one up later. Desires of the Sword. Is that like a lesbian romance there, Isabel? Why did you grow up with the Jorvels and not your own parents?
My father and the late Lord Jorvel were friends. When it came time to see to my education, the Knight Commander offered me a place in her household. It was a kindness I still thank her for to this day.
How long have you wanted to become a knight?
Since I was old enough to hold a branch and pretend to fight Daedra, my parents supported me all the way and set about making sure I got what I needed. So that's why Aurelia and I grew up together, as almost but very much not sisters.
Do you see your family very often?
As much as I can, but they're often out of town on business trips. We're always together for holidays like New Life, though. They were in Somerset when we won the tourney. That's why they weren't at my knighting ceremony.
The signet ring, is it valuable?
It's not made of gold or studded with gems, no. But signet rings allow banks and trading partners to know if one of the family's agents are negotiating in good faith. Someone could cause no end of trouble for my parents with that ring.
Why did you give that signet ring to Aurelia all those years ago?
That is a very good question. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Because. Well, that's not important right now. Let's just focus on the here and now, all right?
I think Laura Bailey did a very good job as Isabel. What do you think, Joe?
I don't know. I can't hear her. Remember?
Oh. So. All right. So everyone's in the room. The alliance leaders are, well, two of the alliance leaders and the alliance leader's son are all falling in. And now I'm getting called up front because I have to be put on the spot.
Finally, we get a moment to ourselves. I did want to speak with you before Lady Arabelle gets on with the important business.
What do you want to talk about, Count Stefan?
I wanted... Damn, this went better in my head. I've never been as good at speaking my mind as my father was, or Archdruid Reval. Now, he was an orator. Sorry, I'm babbling. Let me start over. Thank you for everything, my friend.
You don't need to thank me, Count Stefan.
Now don't start with that sort of nonsense. Of course I need to thank you. You saved us all. What kind of count would I be? What sort of friend? If I didn't let you know how much what you've done for us means to me.
I thank you.
All right, I've taken up enough of your time. I know how eager Lady Arabelle is to get the peace talks underway. We'll talk later. Now go speak to Lady Arabelle and let her know everything is ready for her to begin.
All right, I'll go speak to Lady Arabelle. Alright, this is a bit of a interesting conversation I'm about to have with Lady Arabelle.
Have I mentioned how much I detest public speaking? Goes against all my training as a spy and agent of the king. I'm supposed to hear all the important bits of dialogue, not recite them. Ah, well, before all that, I want to share something with you.
You don't need to do that, Lady Arabelle.
Yes, I do. As we conclude this business with Lord Bacaro and the Ascendant Order, I want you to know how much your help has meant to me. Take this as payments for services above and beyond the call of duty. Now, I have a speech to deliver, my dear. We stand here today because of Lord Bacaro, what he brought together through the Society of the Steadfast, and what he tried to bring about as the Ascendant Lord. Instead of dividing us, instead of defeating and conquering us, he showed us what's possible when we work side by side. And through the courage and sacrifice of many of the people gathered here, as well as the nature spirit free, we persevered and won the day. Now to our royal guests I say, let's recognize our friend, and then start the talks.
Our friend has performed above the call of duty. I name them Champion of the Covenant.
Not so fast, Emmerich. I name them Champion of the Dominion.
Then I name them Champion of the Pact.
Your Majesties, please. All of that would never fit on
Trying to
the
outdo
medal.
each other.
Let's just agree on Champion of the Alliances, shall we?
Oh, very well.
I can live with that.
If you insist.
That's my new title, Champion of the Alliances.
This is the part of the story I hate the most, when we must inevitably say goodbye. As much as I try to avoid it, I have a terrible habit of growing quite attached to the people I work with. All that said, I will miss you most emphatically, my dear.
I'll miss you too, Lady Arabelle. What's next for you?
My contract with the Society of the Steadfast doesn't end until the peace talks conclude. And who knows how long the Alliance leaders will yell at each other now that they've finally started. After that, some travel, some writing, some time to relax.
What about Investigator Vell? Is that what you're going to write?
These accusations that I'm some clandestine writer of tawdry thrillers are beginning to rankle, dear. I understand that the next Vale novel will feature an unlikely location, a new romantic interest, and a villain of epic proportions. Or so I heard.
This is what I was talking about. These accusations that I'm some clandestine writer of tawdry thrillers are beginning to rankle, dear. I understand that the next Vale novel will include an unlikely location, a new romantic interest, and a villain of epic proportions, or so I heard. While, yes, she could be talking about the next Vale novel, and she probably is, I believe this also to be a hint at what's coming next year. So, an unlikely location. I think they're going to have companion romance, and then we're going to have another world-ending villain that we haven't had in quite some time. So, but that's just my theory. I may be wrong, but we shall see in a few months, or actually next month most likely, because they're sure to announce it in January if they don't put it out in before that. All right, so that's really it. That's the end of the Firesong DLC. So I wasn't expecting Isabel to unlock the companion quest when she did. I guess we could go ahead. I finished earlier than I thought I was going to. So we could go knock that out. There's another player here too. I didn't even realize that. We can go knock that out, or I can save that. Because I got a couple other quests that need to be turned in too, actually, to look at it. I could save that, and we could do, I could rank up the relationships with the other characters, the other companions, and I could just do a separate stream on a Friday at some point where we just go through all the companion stories quest.
I honestly, I wouldn't. I keep it to Sundays because it's still part of your game.
Well,
so.
gentlemen,
but it's,
shall we?
I suppose
the Alliance
we
leaders are
did
about ready to head
endure
into
much
the
to get to this
room.
point,
Sorry.
after all.
Then
I forgot that if I got too close to the door, they decided to go into to walk into the room, and you can walk with them up to the door, and then you can't follow them any further. So, well, see, the thing is, once I switch over to Skyrim, I won't be switching back to Elder Scrolls until ESO until the next chapter comes out. Cause see, and that's one of the things is traditionally this isn't just a Sunday series because I do the dungeon DLCs when I can schedule them, which is typically not on Sunday. Because, there's timing issues with the people that are helping out, because you can't solo the dungeon content. You've got to have other players to help you. And I can't guarantee the other players will be available on Sunday. And then I normally do the prologue quest when they come out too, so. But that's it. That's going to be the end of the Firesong DLC. I guess we'll just go ahead and knock out the Isabel quest since we still have 8 minutes, and honestly it doesn't... I just accidentally desummoned Isabel.
Did I miss anything interesting?
You missed a lot, Mary, but that's fine. What I meant to do was take off the wedding suit.
Thank
And I just accidentally popped a potion. Shoot. Actually, this quest might take a little longer than I thought. We'll go ahead and just call it here, and we'll pick up that. We'll do that quest the next time I happen to be in ESO, because I'm going to be doing the New Life Festival quest anyways next week. So, or next Friday anyway. So we'll just do that quest then, when we're doing the New Life Festival quest. So we'll go ahead and call it here for a stream. We will be returning to Skyrim next week with Tasha, Rewish's descendant. I have actually got a lead on where to get some Elven Hunter armor, which will actually be a nice little jump for us on getting a set of Elven gear. And then we'll work on trying to get a full set of Elven gear, because we definitely need it, because the leather armor is starting to fall off on usefulness. So we'll see if we can acquire ourselves a full set of Elven gear, and yeah, then we'll try to continue with pushing forward the story in some fashion. So I'll see you next week, and thank you very much for everyone, and goodbye.